This isn't just merch. It's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to RSC. It is myself, Marco G, and Hodge that is here to take our first match of the day here in the Academy play-ins. Hodge, you've got a lot to talk about here, just to get us started based off of what happened last night's scores on the doors and such like, and where the bracket kind of stands as we are.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, so we'll just get started, shall we? It was an amazing day of action yesterday. We kicked off RSC's post-season stage with Academy Day 1. We started the day with a close series between Xinjiang and Unito, going the distance, going to Game 7. Had the pleasure of casting that one. And Unitox, a team who wasn't really expected to do a lot coming into this, had 20 people who predicted the bracket, and nobody had them winning that game. They upset Team Serene there and moved forward to a match against Shadow Haze, the 4th seed from the Ignis Conference, and they dispatched them as well in a lot easier fashion, bringing forward the momentum from the first series. So Unitox having a great day there as they surge through the lower bracket to Championship Saturday. But Mark, we also had a match in the upper bracket as well, where, you know, we were done eliminating people for the day. We were going to be a little bit nicer, but one team still had to see the lower bracket, and that team was Godalian's Anubis, as they lost a Game 7 thriller, where they were originally up 2 goals in that Game 7 to Nexus Origin, who came back fighting to get the series victory 4-3 overall, moving forward to play against the number 1 seed in the Glaciers Conference, Mistaken Purpose, to kick off Championship Saturday. So lots of action here yesterday, but loads more here today. This is what our playoff bracket currently stands as you can see, Mistaken Purpose and Nexus Origin meeting on that top side of the bracket. Bro to Choms still looking for an opponent, and that's going to be set on later today with Drengia versus Husky later on at 10 p.m. CEST. But for now, we're looking to set the lower bracket, looking to set the score here, and that is what we're going to be deciding today. We're going to have a look at our schedule. Like I mentioned, later on in the day, we're going to have Chrome Husky taking on Berserker's Drengia. Before that, it is going to be Riffle. But they need an opponent, Mark. They need an opponent, and that's what we're here to decide here in round 1 of the play-ins on this side of the bracket. DSQ Livens versus Dexterity Calidus.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's going to be you said it before you even got in here. This one could be an interesting one for the fact that it might be one-sided, but I mean, you can never say this. This is Rocket League in the end of the day. Livens obviously got the higher seeded, so I mean, more likely to be the team to go on and potentially win this one in terms of the community playoffs predictions anyway, as that stands there. They're just a slot above them, not too far against, but obviously looking at the stats in here, they're pretty similar across the board, really. Nothing really to bite about in terms of a massive difference between the two sides. So even though it says 7th, they did end up in that position in 6th spot, just based off of the scenario as it happens. Obviously, it doesn't really kind of counter into that factor, but yeah, they're pretty much neck and neck, right? And there's not really much to really kind of base the difference between them, apart from the fact that one team likes to do a little bit more demos than the other.
Very much the case. DSQ are always willing to get down and dirty. Customs always in the backlines looking for those demos. And like you mentioned there, it does say 7th, but that's because the graphic doesn't take into account tiebreakers sorry, head-to-head, not tiebreakers. DSQ have the head-to-head over Deathcloud, therefore they take the 6th place spot, knocking Deathcloud to 7th. So we've set the scene for this match, but it's time to talk player stats as well here, Mark. We've got loads of players who are going to be taken to the field here today, and when we have a look at this, right, it's a bit of a different story for both teams because, you know, Dexterity have kept the same roster across the entire of League play. It's found them sort of mixed fortunes. They found, you know, a couple of, successes and, a couple of not so successful series as well. But they found 8 draws across the 10 series with this roster. Their name is consistency. It really is. But for the side of DSQ, in the first 2 weeks, they lost 3 of their first 4 series. Made a bit of a roster change, brought out Charlie, brought in Jamsjar here into the roster, and since then, they've been absolutely lights out. What a turnaround from DSQ in their season, and I have to say that they're looking like they're on fine form here coming into the play-ins.
Yeah, so Jamsjar might have came in at just the right time. This Dexterity side, like you said, has been a very well-based things, but draws are not going to get you through to that next stage from here on out. Here in this best of 7, you have to get the W, and that's the most important part going into the play-ins here. Obviously, one of these teams will be eliminated from it completely. The next will move on to game number 2 this evening as well. So at least if you do manage to make it to that second game of the evening, you're warm, you're ready, you've just came off of a series, you should be fighting fit, ready to go straight into action again. So we're going to see who is going to be that team to come out on top. Is it going to be DSQ or is it going to be Dexterity? What do you think, Hodge? Who's your bets on?
My bets are going to be based on an unfortunate circumstance, unfortunately, and I'm going to have this one going 4-0 to DSQ. I could see Dexterity maybe getting a game here, but they are rumored to be playing. Actually, I've had the confirmation from Chebs in DMs. They are, in fact, going to be playing with their sub in Fez. So not a great situation, but you've got to try and make something of it, and we'll see if Dexterity are going to be able to do that, but not obviously a nice situation to be in there for them. Let us know in the chat what you think this is going to go like. I'm not sure if we've got a poll up. I don't think we do just yet, but make sure to let us know nonetheless which way you think this series is going to go. But Mark, I've made my prediction. Where do you see this one going?
I feel like Dexterity are going to pull 1. They're going to get at least 1. So I'm going to say a 4-1 prediction to DSQ. It's nothing major, nothing big, but I think they'll just sneak 1 out of there at least. But if they get off to a slow start, you never know. If it's the first game number 1, it might put DSQ on the undercuffs. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'm going to say 4-1 DSQ as my predictions.
Well,
nothing too far out the boat. I can't be the same as you. That's the only thing. I didn't want to be the exact same, you see.
There's a lot of mental people in the academy tier because I've had a look at the academics server where the academy community resides. We've got a little pick'ems thing going in there. Out of the 21 people who have voted, it is widely regarded that people think Dexterity are going to walk away with this series. Now, they might not be up to date with the roster news, obviously, of the subs having to play here in Fez, but 12 people have gone for Dexterity with 9 to DSQ. So it's gonna be fun to see how this one goes, Mark. And I have to say, Shattered, the GM here for Dexterity, is very much on board for the Fez masterclass in chat. And I have to say, Fez has been pretty impressive as a sub. I think we've got an academy podcast that we run weekly, and we did on Monday a top 10 subs tier list for the best.
He's one of the top players. Was he?
And well, a couple of people had him up there. A couple of people had him on the list. So, it's time to prove his worth here for Fez, and we'll have to see how he's going to slot in. I know Dexterity have been doing a fair amount of scrims to get prepared for it, so it's going to be all about showing up and showing out here on the day when you kind of need to, because survival is essential.
Yeah, exactly. Survival is the essential here for going on to the next stage, at least. And even then, you're still not guaranteed yourself. So you've still got to go back-to-back series here from then on out. And it's going to be a tough ask for both sides, no matter what the scenario is. But DSQ, obviously, like you said, seems to be the side that might well be favoured for it. And we both favour that in terms of the predictions. We should be getting into that matchup very soon as well, as Dexterity and DSQ they'll be looking to get started as quickly as possible, because this could be either a long evening or a very short evening for you. One of the two sides. I mean, if you're going into the best of 7, you go the distance in game number 1, then you're thinking, oh my god, this is going to be a long night of Rocket League. And we've definitely seen that, especially when it comes to things like play-ins, where it is all important. Every match counts, no matter what, going into it, and you need to just keep on your game.
Yeah, I mean, it is about staying at the top of your game, and it's about certain players who you're going to be looking towards in this matchup to have a big impact. I'm looking at people with a lot of experience here. I'm looking at the likes of Big Chebs. I'm looking at the likes of Customs, who've been there, done it before. Last season, Customs didn't have the greatest success on that Momentum Academy roster. Went out in play-ins round 2, then subbed up into the Momentum prospect team and made a grand final, and almost was so close so many times to getting that one over the line. But unfortunately for them, Team Serene saw the greatest run in RSC history and ended up coming out on top of that grand final. Customs, a similar position to what he was in last season. Last time he knocked me out of the tournament. This time he's looking to knock Dexterity out of the tournament. So, I mean, we've got all the players in the lobby. I think there's no better thing to do than to get started on time and get the players on the field. What are we thinking, Mark?
I'm thinking we get started with Rocket League here. I'm looking forward to it. This has been a while. I've not been here at the Rocket League or RSC for quite some time, so dust off these cobwebs. We're going to get into the action, and these players are not dusting off cobwebs because they need to be all guns blazing as we kick off match number 1.
We kick off match number 1, and the Academy tier sees the beginning of its second day of the play-ins. Yesterday was electric by all margins. Unitox defying and denying expectations, making that run. Dexterity, the expectations for them are so much lesser than they were of Unitox, though. It'll be so much more of an upset by everyone's standards if they were able to get this series win, given the roster that they approach things with. Also, if you're keeping up with your bingo cards here in Academy, tick off sub plays a series, because Fez is on the pitch, and Fez is already looking to get started in the offensive side as he gets that ball over the top of 1, and Aether with the follow-up. It's about setting the pace here for both of these teams.
Yep, definitely get themselves settled into the game, get themselves a few touches, figure out what they're going to do from here. Jamshar's going to flick it up forward, but Big Chebs is already back, ready to set that back up to the mid portion of the pitch. But there's that super sub that you say as well, as he hits it back and forward. We're just trading passes across the pitch here. Nobody really getting any kind of chance so far, but this one is set up right nicely here for Customs. He hits it, the double comes off of Arthur as the save comes in. Axer is going to be able to get that away, and unfortunately not going to see a goal yet early on here. A minute and a half gone, and we're still looking for that first opening.
We certainly are. We've got to see what these players can do to try and find it. Fez, the super sub, is looking to find maximum impact here. It's a great infield pass there from Chebs, and Fez is there to punish.
Yeah, perfect position to be in. It's just a little bit short there for the defense here. No boost to kind of stop that on the line there from Lenners, unfortunately, and it will be Fez, the super sub, that does get that goal number 1 here for Dexterity, and already making us think twice about our predictions maybe, but early doors still. Plenty of time here in the game for both sides to get either more on the cards or even for that bounce back. Fez always going to flick it just above him. Unfortunately, that's going to go down. Lanners is going to get the chance to equalise the scoring, and that is going to be making up for that defensive error where he just couldn't follow up the save. He decides to, you know what, we'll level the scoring. We're going to make it easy enough to kind of get back into this game with a lot of time still on the cards.
Yeah, Lana's one of, the best players for his value. I believe around 1260, and there's certain games where you look at him and you think, right, could this guy potentially be at that, upper echelon level? And maybe not, but maybe Customs is, because he's there perfectly positioned. And it was a great shot there from Lana, almost finding the back of the net. But sometimes you need stability, and that is what Customs brings to a roster.
Yeah, it was that super save there off the line there from that super sub of Fez, but unfortunately it wasn't going to be stayed out for very much longer. The post denying it the first time, but on the second chance of asking, Customs is there to answer. And once again, having another shot straight off of that restart. Jamstar going up top. It's another one from Axar to make the save. It's going to keep the pressure on here, though, as they live inside. are looking solid now that they've got themselves into a little bit of a pace and they're figuring their game out. Jamsjar's going to send it forward. Fez is going to be there to intercept. It's a nice pass opportunity there coming in. It's going to be a chance, and Axfer is going to put it in. It's all level once again.
Yeah, King Aether is there to capitalise at the perfect time. It's a little bit of a missed touch there from Customs, and it opens up the gates there for Dexterity Calidus to tie up the scoreline here in game number 1. I think this first game is just going to be about getting the nerves gone for both of these teams. You know, haven't necessarily played on a big RSC stream like this in a while. For a lot of these players, you know, it might be since last season that they had to do that. And while we know some players are, you know, absolutely sound playing under the pressure, some players maybe takes him a little bit longer. For Fez, it doesn't phase him whatsoever as he gets the touch past the last defender and gets that lead back in the hands of Dexterity.
Yeah, Jamsjar just flags past the ball. It's an opening net there for Fez just to slot it home, and all of a sudden they take the lead back here. Dexterity started off with the lead. They got back to level, they went behind, and now they're back in front. Customs though, straight off of that kickoff, the flick's not going to go. Fez is there to intercept, he's going to try and follow that up, but Jamsjar covers it in the back, off the backboard, but only as far as Axfer, but he's also hit it a little bit too hard for the control. No more boost to kind of control it further, and it's just going to be back and forward here from then on out. Who's going to get the ball pushed up? It's going to be Customs. Opportunity, nope, Axfer's there on the sidelines, stops it, but there comes the demos. That is what we normally see DSQ doing, but it is on the other hand, Dexterity smashing and grabbing that ball and taking it up the pitch.
Yeah, well, green means go for Dexterity, and that's exactly what King Aether was almost able to do and secure the 2-goal lead, but just ricochets off of that back wall and away from the goal. Lanes, though, is going to look for that response from DSQ and won't quite find it here. It will be Customs who once again dives in. That's a great setup there from Jamsjar. If Lanes can get on the end of it, and, well, he was able to, but not really to put a threatening shot on.
Almost there. If you get a little touch there, that's a chance, but it's going to be a chance now. Customs, though, Fez is on the goal line once again, stops another opportunity here for the DSQ living side. Still, Dexterity lead away, a minute left on the clock, but that pass was going to be good here. Almost. Wow, nice wee interception comes in, and rsc-eu is going to try and get it. Fez clicks it over, but doesn't get it past Customs. And we're going to be back on for midway as the ball passes down the side. Cheps off the intercept. Oh, Fez intercepted once again. Jamsjar is back and forward in the action, fast pace as this ball starts to speed up, and he's going to miss that one. Big Cheps gets it over the top. It is a 2-goal lead with only 36 seconds on the clock. Lanners might be thinking, it was an unfortunate pass, but Jamsjar's had lots of boosts and just could not direct it in the right place. The joys of academy play. That's be what I'd do the exact same. I'd probably flew past it even further, but that is an unfortunate circumstance there. Even with a boost of hand, just couldn't do the job to stop it from going in the back of your net.
Yeah, you'd think with how much I've yapped about this tier this season, you know, on RSC, on the Academy Cooldown podcast, just around the entire community, I'd know not to trust a prediction and trust what makes sense in this tier, because nothing makes sense in this tier. The 4-0 prediction for DSQ, I have to say, was a little bit confident, and Dexterity are going to make me instantly eat my words here. In game number 1, a 2-goal lead, a dominant performance, and Fez stepping up with a 500, close to 600 point game as Dexterity Calidus fire the first salvo here in the series.
Yeah, a fantastic first game indeed, and Fez top of that leaderboard, MVP. You think he's a sub? He's more than just a super sub. Look at him, he's fighting his way into that team, and a fantastic score from him. 2 goals, 1 save, 2 saves. Sorry, 2 saves, assists. I mean, he's doing everything around that pitch, and he's done it to keep his team in front. Calidus leading the way here from Dexterity's side, and you know what? With it being a best of 7, you're going to take that interestingly and go, right, that's a start, but we've got plenty of matches ahead.
Yeah, they certainly do. Plenty of matches to go. It is at that best of 7, obviously, as we get into the play-ins. And we do have timeouts enabled as well, Mark. So if players feel like, you know, they want to sort of slow things down for a second, each team is going to have the ability to call a tactical timeout there and just slow things down for a little bit. But we're going to get straight into game number 2, because you can't be taking timeouts after game 1, right? You've got loads of time to play with, loads of time to find an impact. And that's what we saw in loads of series yesterday. I mean, Team Serene, they won the first game in their series, and then Unitox kind of like, you know, step things up a little bit. Shadow, I believe, won game number 1 in their series, and then Unitox stepped things up a bit. Godalians won game number 1 in their series, and then, you know, Nexus stepped things up a bit. So I don't think anybody who's won a game number 1 has actually closed out the series just yet. Maybe this could be the first here as Dexterity dive into game number 2 with similar success hopes on the line.
Yeah, they'll be hoping to try and do the same, go 2-0 up in the series, give themselves a really fighting chance in it. And Axford's going to start it off. There we go. It's took a matter of seconds to get us started in our first goal this time out. Chebs passes it off the back wall, and Axford is there. 2 players in that defensive line, unfortunately, not quick enough to react. And that's going to be 1-0 for Calidus. And a great start bouncing off of that momentum from game number 1.
You really just can't predict this tier. It really, I mean, you know, I've said it so many times this season.
My predictions are always terrible. I can't predict anyone's, to be fair. I can't lie.
It's all over the place, regardless. But yeah, it's the first goal here for Dexterity Calidus. They're looking in great form in this series, and on the other side, DSQ, excuse me. They look a little bit flat. Something's got to reignite that flame, and we know what players like Customs can do, but the entire team has got to come alive together. It's not really to single someone out. It's just, you know, it's at this stage of the game, it's a team effort. Everybody's got to be connecting. Everybody has got to sort of, you know, come around each other as teammates, and that's, you know, what a bit of a lack of what we're seeing from DSQ here. People are taking their individual touches, but the connections aren't quite there. The passing plays were a little bit lackluster. That's a great touch to the back wall there from Jamjars, and Larnes is going to try and get that one infield for Customs, who is finding sort of plays here and there, but the shot once again is just a little bit off. Customs follow is also not going to find the back of the net. It is pandemonium around the Dexterity attacking half.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job to kind of keep it out as well. Strangely enough, like, no boost here from Fez. So what's he going to be able to manage to do? He's going to be able to get it over 1. At least Jamjar's covering in the back, and you can imagine that could have went in, could have not went in, considering circumstances. But there we go. Now it's going to be on the other hand. Dexterity trying to still get out of their own half. It's going to be boost used, and it's opening up, and it's going to be off the post. And only as far as Fez. Chebs responds though, and it's straight into the top net. 2-0. Calidus, and they are definitely wiping our predictions off that scoreboard.
You just can't be conceding goals like that for DSQ Livens. It's 3 players who've just dived in at once, and the rotation has just completely crumbled here on the Temple. 2-0 lead here for Dexterity Calidus. DSQ Livens, they don't really look like they're, you know, themselves after some of the form we've seen from them towards the end of the season. Week 5, they had a great week. They took a series off Serene in 3-1 fashion, who originally were looking like they could have potentially been a top 3 team. That was a bit of an upset. Then they moved forward and got their final series win as well, I believe. It was either a draw or a win, but they found some great success in week 5, and it really set them up in good form, in good stead for this play-in stage. But we're not seeing the same DSQ here yet in this matchup, and it looks like that's going to continue as Chebs gets a clear downfield. Fez just tries to touch this one middle, but it's a little bit slow on the reaction there from Dexterity. Yeah,
Fez could have had the opportunity to put that back into Chebs' possession, and it could have been that third goal, but Chebs has done it. There you go. Jamshar is there to intercept, thankfully, to keep that one out. Could have been 3-0. It could have been a really difficult position to be in if you're that DSQ live inside. You're yet to get off the mark in this game. You're yet to have an opportunity really that looks convincing overall, and they need to really start heating things up here if they fancy the chance of coming back in this one. And there you go. Lanners crosses it into the center of the goal. Customs reacts, and he's first to the ball, and he gets the goal that they need here to at least bring this back by 1.
One of the smartest players in the whole tier for sure. Always there when needed to be. And Customs cuts the lead in half here that Dexterity had, but still 2 minutes on that clock. Still many chances for both of these teams to find impact, and Jamsjar's looking to get this one in field. Lanners sort of dives in, and it's going to sort of end up going further back than he would have wanted to, as the ball finds its way back to the Dexterity, so the DSQ side of the field, and well, likewise straight down the other end. It's Academy. We love a bit of, you know, ping pong between both teams, and that's what we've seen so far in this series. Chebs up for the touch, over to the back wall, and Aether slotted it. That's perfection from Dexterity.
Well, the 2-goal lead goes back to that situation. Now, unfortunately, DSQ can't hold out another. And now, instead of being in this game, they look like they're getting further away once again. 2 goals, I always feel like it's a good cushion to have, right? Because you can bounce back straight away. Like one and done is a difficult scenario, but as soon as you give yourself that cushion, it feels a little bit more comfortable for you here. And the Dexterity side are looking a little bit more comfortable for sure than the DSQ side are. Fortunately, it's just the way it goes. You've not got Lanners really kind of up to the pace it needs to be yet. Fizz is not having the best game either, Fizz, really, to be honest, compared to game number 1. But you know what? When everybody else is heating up, he doesn't really need to do all the work that he was doing in game number 1. So this is the joys of playing the team game.
Yeah, Customs trying to find that sort of corner double, won't be able to, and it will ricochet back down to the other side of this field, but this is not where DSQ want to be. They've got 50 seconds left on that clock, 50 seconds to get 2 goals, and it's not really going to be possible when you've got Aether just holding on to this possession. Feels like somebody just needs to challenge a lot of the time here for DSQ. They're giving Dexterity so much space to work with, and they're using and abusing it.
Yeah, putting the ball up as far away from possession as possible, wasting more and more time on that clock as well. The more it's up, the more it is difficult to try and get possession of the ball to even get a chance on goal. And with 24 seconds left, you need 2 goals to at least take this to the overtime. I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon by the looks of things. This looks like this could be game number 2 in the back here for the Dexterity side, unless an opening goal, and Jamjar slots it with 11 seconds on the clock. Can they get the kickoff goal that they ever so need to take this to overtime?
Academy strikes again. 2 players missed the ball, and that's the open lane there for DSQ Livens. That's now giving them an opportunity to bring things back, but a kickoff goal going to be needed. Won't be found. Jamjars holds on to the play. That's going to drop towards this Calidus net. Customs, a great touch, but nobody's there with the follow-up. Somebody needs to be there for DSQ, and that's what we've been saying all of this game. But nobody is, and Dexterity Calidus walk away on Forbidden Temple with a 2-0 lead.
Yep, 2-0. Well, both our predictions are already out the water as 2 games done. It is the Calidus side that are leading away. Axe are looking good here. 452 goals, 1 assist and 4 shots to the game, but you could just see the difference in the amount of shots being taken. 8 against a total of 5. That'll give you a little bit more chance of scoring some more goals here if you're Dexterity, and that's exactly what they did. A little bit more domination around the pitch, and definitely controlling the ball a lot more than that DSQ roster have been. They'll need to try and heat us up going into this, because you're 2-0 down, right? Don't want to go down 3 down, because as soon as you go 3 down, your heads go down, the game becomes a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, and DSQ Livens have recognised that. They've pushed the timeout panic button here after game number 2. The second team to do so in this play-ins bracket. We only had one yesterday, I believe. I think it was called by Gedalians, maybe Nexus, but regardless, the timeout button has been pressed. That's going to give them some time to talk things over, think about what's going wrong. And I think overall, it's just that DSQ Livens, they don't really have a lot of presence about them heels, right? There's constantly players going for plays that just aren't having any follow-ups. It's isolated touches that don't really go anywhere, and it feels like a lot of the goals that we've seen from DSQ are coming off of the back of mistakes from Dexterity. So I feel like, you know, there's very much chances back into this series and ways back for this DSQ side. They've just got to do a better job of creating their own narrative rather than trying to play to Dexterity's tune.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I mean, they've been playing a little bit more in Dexterity's favour. A few mistakes here and there for both sides, but just a little bit more on the DSQ side. A few missing touches that could have went either direction, really. If they were up there at the right times, maybe a few more seconds, the difference between getting a goal themselves or conceding. And unfortunately, the double commits and the flying past the balls, opportunities where you're trying to hit the ball away from your own possession, just going the way of Dexterity for the most part there, and the 50 seem to be going in Dexterity's favour as well. So with 60 seconds on the clock there for them to try and deliberate what they're going to do here going into this match number 3. The DSQ just need to come out all guns blazing. They just need to show what they were showing at the latter stages of the league setup, and hopefully they can get themselves back in a position that means they're comfortable, they get their passing plays right, they get their opportunities and they finish them off, and hopefully get at least one of these scores on the doors and kind of put pressure more on that Dexterity roster.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're going to be able to do that here. And it's about the bounce back. It's about the experience. And Lana's and Customs have got plenty of that experience. Also, I think this entire team does actually. Looking at this roster, and people might not recognize Jamsjars as much here as a player, but formerly known as 3 in a row. It's a bit of a name change here this time, but you know, it's go going nonetheless. It's ready to go. It's time to let lock. It's time to get rash for both of these teams because it's experience versus experience. Everyone here, I don't know if Fez does, but everybody else has certainly been around long enough to know how to get it done, and it's time to show that they can do it here on the pitch. DSQ needing a response.
Yep, needing to win a match here at least to kind of give themselves a little bit more leeway, to make themselves feel a little bit more comfortable here in the game, and hopefully start giving themselves opportunities once again to try and win the series. But you need to win at least one match to start us off with, and at this point in time, Dexterity were 2-0 lead. They're feeling comfortable. They're easing their way into this game here as well. No early goal this time, but I mean, they're just making sure that DSQ can find one of their own.
Well, latency variation in this match is not my friend. There we go. It's gone away for a second, but into game number 3 we go, and it's about trying to secure this first goal, a crucial goal here in game 3 for DSQ. I think they need the opening goal just to give them that little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum. And well, they're struggling to get out of their defense right now. It's Jamsjars gets this one back over to Lana's, who's going to pop that one up. Jamsjars going to follow up on the touch, follow up on the play, and get it in field. But once again, it's a little bit of that disconnection. Customs not quite on the end of his teammate's pass, and it is just circling around as Dexterity look to control the narrative from their defensive half.
Yeah, they're doing a good defensive stance just now so far, but I mean, DSQ definitely getting a little bit better with the passing together. They're linking them up a little bit better than they have done in the previous matches, and that's what they need to keep going. As long as that final touch matters, though, the one that could be the ball towards that goal line at least. But so far, it is always the final touch. Jamshar's going to hit it off that back wall. It's going to drop down, but nobody's going to be there to answer it. Nobody would boost at least. Fez, he's going to be able to get it away. He's running out of boost on. Leonard will intercept it up the side wall. Looking for the touch, gets it past one. Now, can he get the right judge on that jump? He can't. Chebs is going to take it back, but the Customs comes in with a big demo.
Certainly does. 3 minutes left of this one, and neither team has been able to find the back of the net. That's quite a rare sighting in Academy, to have no goals after 2 minutes, but that no goals might not last for much longer unless Jamsjar, excuse me, is able to get back for that touch and get things downfield the other way. It's back and forth, and both teams are trying to find the connection, trying to find the shot, but both are being blocked on every attempt.
Yeah, Fez trying to get it off the flip reset off of the roof there. Unfortunately, can't manage to do it. I mean, if you do it in Academy, I mean, you start thinking, wait a minute, you could do these things, you could do all the fancy mechanical stuff at Academy. Fair play. Once in a blue moon, maybe once in a blue moon. That's when you need that nice opportunity to go, look at this. This is an absolute worldie. Well, that's what I want to see from here. Lana's going to send it up the pitch. He's going to run a boost, but he's going to try and get a chance to answer it back as he gets the full boost. And it's going to be Jamsjar who flies in from behind. DSQ get the opening goal and finally open the scoring for themselves to try and give themselves a chance in this match. Look at that double commit in the defense as well. Nobody managed to connect to that ball. And it is going to be DSQ 1-0 up finally. And we've almost went for 2.5 minutes.
We have. It's been quite a long time, but we are getting the ball rolling here in game number 3. DSQ, like we mentioned, quite a crucial goal for them to be able to pick that one up, to get that momentum back flowing, and hopefully to set them up to take game number 3 and at least keep this series close, right? I think it's very... I'm looking at this series. If this was a 4-game league play series, I feel like we could see this one going to a draw, purely because Dexterity love a draw. They've got 8 of them so far this season. So, you know what? Maybe that just means that DSQ, if DSQ come back and win the next 2 games, it's a storyline, it's a plot. I have to say, it just is.
They're just in it for the draws. That's all they're here for, Dexterity. That's what we'd think. But I mean, so far, That's not the case so far. They're still leading this series and looking to try and answer back, but his teammate's the one there to stop it. Tries to redirect it. Unfortunately, it is wide of the mark, and it's going to still be pressure here for Dexterity as they put DSQ under so much, but Lanners gets the intercepts, gets the flick over. It's an open net. It should be finished off, and it is. It's a 2-0 lead here for DSQ. And now looking with a minute left on the clock to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, that's great value found there from Lanners. From that position, it was looking like DSQ were going to be a little bit awkward on defense. Everyone was committed pretty far forward, and it took their third man diving in to try and bail them out, but they were able to get back on the offense, capitalize off of some mistakes from Dexterity, and pick up that second goal to add to this tally. Looking like in good stead here, Mark, to pick up game number 3 as Lanners dives in again, not to the same success, but all they're doing at this point is trying to stall out that timer. A couple of extra goals, yeah, it would be great, but at the end of the day, you just want the win.
Yep, the win is all important. It could be 1-0, it could be 7-0. It matters nonetheless. The W is all that really matters in this best of 7 series. Customs looking to drop it down to his teammate. Oh, it's just missed there, and unfortunately another opportunity for DSQ. But Jamshar's up at the back wall, drops it down in front of Lanners, but Fez is going to clear it away from the line. Customs looking to intercept that, does do so off the sideboard now. All of a sudden Jamshar's going to hit it high and above. Is there a follow-up coming? No, there's not. Customs is too far back and doesn't have the boost, but that 10 seconds left. I don't see the comeback now. It would need fastest goals I've ever seen in Rocket League. But Fez, he's going to find one. We've got 4 seconds left. It is not over yet.
It certainly isn't. Just when you thought that things were going to be as simple as done, Fez comes in, flies from above, and brings this game back within reach here for Dexterity. But same thing we said at the end of last game, a kickoff goal couldn't be needed. It's Fez's time to shine under the lights. He can't quite do it. Jeb should have this catch though, and he's going to take it up the wall. Jamjars can't quite find the touch. This is starting to get a little bit ropey, but it will hit the ground, and DSQ Livens have life here in the series.
Yeah, they needed that one for sure. Put a little bit of nerves over there. Imagine that just landed right on top of King's hood. There was a chance for a wee flick forward in at the goal, and it would have been tied up and we'd go to overtime, but it wasn't to happen. Thankfully for the Live inside, they take the lead in Jamsjar. Well, they take the win and they go back and at least get one on that scoreboard, which means it doesn't look as bad for them so far. Dexterity is still leading the way overall in the series 2-1, but a better game from the side of DSQ Live, and they'll need to do that once again here to tie up the series and hopefully give them more of a chance. But yeah, as you said, academy do academy things. You could just never predict what the games are going to go like and how it's going to happen. A few players up in their game here and there. Jamshar definitely upped it this time round. Finally finding that goal. Had to make a good save as well to stop Calidus finding another goal, which could have been the overall equaliser. But unfortunately, that wasn't to be the case for Calidus. But you know what? They're still leading the series. They still have going to confidence into game number 4. Everything to play for both sides. But Livens, is that the momentum swing that they needed?
We're going to have to find out, and we'll get into the next game and try and see if DSQ are starting to pull things in, starting to rein in the competition. But these two teams overall, power ranked so closely next to each other, Mark. Dexterity power ranked as the number 11 seed, I guess, coming into the postseason stage by the community brackets. DSQ power ranked number 10, but DSQ are looking to soar for the top of the score sheets here, and already 6 seconds into game number 4, they're excelling at just that.
Yep, Lanner 6. Gives it 6 seconds to pass on to Jamshar to slot it home. 1-0. DSQ leading already. And that's exactly what they wanted. A strong start after their win. But there you go. Almost the opening for Fez. But it is going to be covered. Jamshar once again having to do the work in the back to keep that goal cleared. Lanner 6 going to send it upwards, and it's going to be intercepted from Axford, but Customs is on the line. He's not got any boost, but he can at least get the ball away from his goal. Axford, look, he's got an open shot opportunity. How much boost in time is he going to do it? He's going to get the flick, but Jamshar once again making the crucial save.
Making the crucial save, and for how long? Because Chebs is going to get this attack restarted. Customs, that's a great touch downfield to put Aether under a little bit of pressure, and Customs is going to follow up on that touch. Back over to Lanas, who had the chance but missed the ball. And now the rotation has to be solid to get back in time because Dexterity are on the hunt for the counter-attack. Fez diving in, can't quite find that touch, and Lanes will tap it back over to Customs. Okay, I'm liking the plays we're starting to see here from DSQ. It's a three-man passing play, and it can't quite break the backs of that final defender, but the ideas are there, the execution, while it could still use some work, Mark, we're getting there.
We're definitely getting, and that could have been the gate goal of the week there for the academy side there. A nice wee pass and play, 3 players all getting involved in that phase of play. Unfortunately, the finish was not there from Jamshar, but once again, it's going to be Dexterity under pressure. Cheb's having to get the ball up, but it's going to be as far as ladder 6 is just off the crossbar and no more. Jamshar, though, no boost, but he's going to at least flick it off the sidewall to try and get that centred. Everybody fighting in the back here for Dexterity, but it's Customs that's got the angle, and he slots it bottom corner. 2-0 DSQ. And the momentum shift is well and truly in play.
It certainly is. If you thought we were going to come into this series with anything but DSQ bringing things back to a 2-2 and Dexterity, you know, technically if it was a series of 4 getting a draw, then let's be real, you were absolutely stupid. So yeah, maybe the 4 prediction from me wasn't the greatest shout of all time, but at least if DSQ, you know, win this one, Mark, we know we're at least getting a 6-game series. It's at least going to be a close affair here between these 2 teams, and it has for all of this series so far. But as the shots start to, you know, continue to make their way towards that Dexterity side of the field, it's Dexterity who now need to look for that stabilization, and they're not finding it because DSQ are looking like a lot more of a complete team after that timeout.
Oh, Jamshar almost slots that one. The intercept there almost could have came in play there. Jamshar had the save on the goal line. He pushed it forward and almost made it free. Now, he's now going to stay. He's going to make it free now. We'll just take that right back out there. Jamshar is ready. He is looking for DSQ to lead the way here. He scored 2 so far off his 4 shots, a 50% conversion rate, but that one is unsavable.
Yeah, it very much is. 3-goal lead here for DSQ in game number 4. They've ran the show for the past 2 games, and that's a horrible touch from Chez.
Oh, Planners!
Can't quite punish, and I mean, yeah, it's just all over the place for both of these teams, isn't it, Mark? It's prime Akkad ball, and at the end of the day...
Akkad ball, I like it. I like it.
And yeah, both of these teams just sort of had their struggles, but had their successes as well. Customs maybe doesn't want to relive that moment, though.
No, he doesn't.
He's there to punish.
I mean, yeah, like, as soon as I seen him go up for that and miss it, I was like, that's it. That's the opening that Fez needs. Jamshar just gets bumped away as well, and there you go. Fez at least pulls one back. The goal deficit just down to 2. 3-1 leading the way is DSQ. But it's not over yet. 2 minutes as well. They've still got plenty of chance here for Dexterity.
Well, we've seen great, you know, rags to riches stories. Look back at week 4 Fail of the Week. If you've not had the chance to watch it, find the Fail of the Week channel and go and watch it. And this is exactly what we mean. Teams, you know, they might not have a great moment, but it's about how you bounce back, and Customs is there to do just that.
Yep, gets a goal deficit by 3 once again. A good position to be in now. Just under 2 minutes remaining on the clock. A solid second, well, potentially second win on the cards here for DSQ. As the pass and play almost comes out, but Big Chebs has to get the intercept off the sidewall. Jamshar's going to send it back into the goal line area. It's Fez that gets it off the corner post, but only as far as ladder 6 up in the middle. He's going to try and get the bump, but unfortunately Chebs doesn't get bumped too far, so there's no opportunity. But Customs 50 and it sits there stationary. Nobody really winning that one outright. But Fez, that's a great pass. Axford just going to put it upwards because he can't direct it goal line.
Well, it will continue to swirl around this DSQ defensive half until Customs finds that breakthrough. Now what can he do to continue the pressure? At this point, it doesn't really matter. They're just looking to stall out timer, but Chebs needs a goal now here for his team, and they're just not finding it, Mark. Dexterity are sort of being beat back time and time again, but now that here's the opening. Jamjars denies, though.
Jamshar's going to get an opportunity clean on goal here as well, and he's going to head it forward. It's 5-1. It is unmountable now here. Surely 53 seconds remain on the clock. DSQ with the biggest scoreline we've had so far in the series. A 5-1 lead, leading by 4. Dexterity, they've not got it in this game to come back, I'm sure, at this point. But if they do, fair play to you, because that'll be something of an uphill battle, but an opening off the kickoff. Chebs gets the 50 win, no boost to play with, and the boost comes out here. Customs making the demo. Chebs has to be sent back to the respawn side on his own side. Jamshar's going to send it back up the pitch and waste even more time, but this is inevitable now. Definitely a DSQ win. We are going to 2-2 in this series, Hodge.
Looks like we are. If you thought it was going to be anything different, well, think again. Dexterity, they love themselves a draw. But my question now is, how do we close the series? Because somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. So, like, you know what? We've got both the AGMs and Customs and Chebs in the server right now. Should we just ask them to just, like, double forfeit?
Oh, Jamshar's just making an insult to injury there for Dexterity here as it comes off the ball. But I mean, we could just ask them, these guys just want to forfeit, and it'll be both of you get the draw, nobody goes forward, and game number 2 is already
through to Saturday as well, so you're helping out another team, you know?
Exactly. I mean, that
everyone wins.
Well, nobody wins at that point, to be fair. Nobody wins, but there we go. 6-1 going to be the finishing scoreline on this. The Brazil can come in with the 3 seconds remaining on the clock. It's looking like it on for. Oh, it is! It's in! The 1 second it hits on the ground, it goes back up, and it's done. Brazil made. It is all but done now. 7-1 for game number 4. Jamshar says he has to go on a vacation now. That's 5 goals to his name. A fantastic match there in this series. Now we're all tied up.
Yeah, it's kind of warm in this lobby now. We're off to Brazil, but where are we going to next? It is going to be Beckwith Park. It is going to be game number 5 here, Mark. And, well, you look at that. Look at that scoreboard. A 960-point game from Jamsjar. He's been such a great addition to this team, and I think any of the players on that roster will tell you in spades how good of a player Jamsjar is. He was always hailed really highly in the tier as 3 in a row. Didn't have the greatest season on Dexterity, I believe, last season, but he's bounced back in a big way here since joining DSQ, and is looking to, I guess, in a sense, beat down his old org.
Yeah, imagine that. That's a storyline and a half. Putting down your old org and saying, sorry guys, of a phenomenal standout performance game like that as well. He's just set it right in. It's a really, really nice, appetizing meal that we have in front of us here. It is going to be, well, a series to kind of watch over here for sure, guys. Everybody who's watching, you can't turn around away from this one. This is going to be a nail-biter till the very end. I feel like we could go the distance as well, Hodge. I can't lie. If Dexterity come back the way that they did in this play the first couple of games, this could be decided in game number 7.
It could be. For now, the server's gone down for maintenance, though, so we're going to have to, get another lobby going. So everyone will go back to the menu and rejoin another lobby, and then we'll get this one started as quickly as possible here, Mark. But yeah, I think going into game number 5, I'm looking at a big game needed here for Dexterity. I feel like if you lose this one, series could be all but lost. But you've got to bounce back. You've got to be able to dig yourself out of a situation like this. We saw Unitox was able to yesterday. Team Serene won game 6, 6-0, I think it was, maybe 6-1 in game number 6 on Neo Tokyo in yesterday's series, and Unitox came back and battered them in game 7. So it's possible, but you've got to dig deep. You've got to remember what's at stake here. And you know what? I think for Dexterity, excuse me, they've already really impressed me. I mean, to even be playing a competitive series with your sub on the team is already very impressive, and I think it's raising Fez's stocks, in my mind especially, very highly here. But you've got to, it doesn't matter unless you get the win, and that's what they're going to be striving for here over the next couple of games. I find it interesting, actually, because on the Academy Cooldown podcast the other day, like I mentioned, we were able to, do a top 10 subs tier list, Mark, and 2 people put Fez on the list. Vice put him at number 8, and Ethan put him at number 4. Nobody else had him in the top 10 at all. So Ethan, for once, might just be an intelligent person, as much as I hate to say that. And for the rest of us, we all need to tap in with the game, because Fez has been lights out today.
Yeah, he definitely has been. There's a few players here that you could be thinking, wait a minute, actually, they could play when the pressure's on. Doesn't matter play-ins here. Obviously, this is one and done. If you lose the game and you lose this, you're out of the play-ins. You're out of the opportunity, out of the RSC for this season. But you know what? These 2 teams, they're making sure that they are not out anytime soon. We're going at least a couple more And if this plays out, could be going the distance. A nice opportunity there for Dexterity as they're trying to get that opening scoring because they've not done it in the last 2 games, and they really need to get started and get their play the way that they have been in the first couple. But maybe that's just been DSQ warming up and getting themselves into a position. There's an opening opportunity under the crossbar. It's on the line. It's going to go in. Lanners will make it 1-0 within the minute.
Yeah, it went to great lengths to do so. The crossbar was a little bit unsure if he wanted to give that as a goal, but it will be DSQ Livens who walk away with the first here. Dexterity need to stabilize this ship because it's getting out of control very, very fast.
Yeah, definitely is. This is going to be a chance, opportunity. Nope, Axer's only got himself to blame here. Customs hasn't got it to get covered. An opportunity once again. A good one off the line, tips it away. But the pressure's still on. Dexterity still putting the chance towards the goal, and off of the goal line goes Jamjar though once again, saving his side and keeping the lead there. Lanner 6 though, he's going to try and go commit towards that. Chebs tries to flick it, but the 50-50 from Jamjar is good. Customs is there in the back line, so he'll at least keep that out as well. And is the super sub, you keep saying he just misses unfortunately, but Axer's there to answer back quite quickly. Good once again on that save there from Lanners.
Well, Fez now trying to line up that double tap, going to be taken away here by DSQ, and they've been taking away a lot from their opponents. Add another goal to the tally perhaps, but not quite. Fez is back for the save, and Chebs is maybe popping that one back over to DSQ, but will get the touch there to sort of clear it from the danger zone. Lana's diving back in, DSQ out for more blood here, but it's saved away once again. The shots are not really threatening enough here from DSQ, but it's doing well enough for the time being.
It's open!
Because Fez has got the clear downfield and the snipe from the sidewall.
Yep, Customs tries to flick it center for his teammate Jamjar. It's too far, and it's straight into the hood of Fez, and goal line can't be saved there. We're all tied up in this, just as the series is as well. It's continuing that way.
It's keeping it close here between these two teams. So far, out of the 3 series we've seen, 66% of them, if you want to round that up to 67, feel free, have gone to game number 7. Are we going to make it 75% here in this series?
Could well be the case so far, as we're all tied up once again with this one. And with the series tied up and both teams finding the back of the net in this one early on. Plenty of time to play it. A chance off the blockboard there, Fez, once again, but it's going to come down, and it's Chebs who slots it home. 2-1, Dexterity lead. Right on the 2-2-2 mark, they make it 2.
Yeah, Dexterity are looking to put themselves on series point. And they're 2 minutes and 22 seconds away from doing just that. 1 goal lead to work with. They're going to look to extend that, but they're going to have to work for it because DSQ is no easy pushover. And I think the past couple of games have really said that in every way possible. The Jam Jars will be posted on the goal line and we'll get that tap away. Chebs looking to get involved in the action here, and it's a triple commit into the front post side by DSQ. This is very easily punishable by Dexterity if they can get their ducks in a row, and it's almost going to be punished there, but Fez can't quite find the angle, and it's going to be cleared away there by Customs.
Yeah, thankfully for DSQ, they get that away, but it doesn't go too far. They're all pushed up here, so there isn't going to be an opportunity once again for Chebs. He's going to push it down the line. He gets a flick, but is intercepted from Jamjar. He sends it up to the left side, trying to look for the bounce back into the centre. Fez going to pass it to Chebs. Once again, we're back and forward. And no, the opening in the miss from Lanners. That could be an opening that needed, but thankfully, no capitalisation here for Dexterity. That could have been a 2-goal cushion coming their way. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be the case.
Certainly could have been, but now the ball is going to find its way back towards this box. Aether going to be up for the touch, and Chebs following up with the pop. This is, a good play developing here for Dexterity, and they don't, really necessarily need it. They still hold on to this lead with a minute left, but it's good to have some security. It's good to have some insurance that you can, maybe make a mistake or two and still be okay. And Aether and Fez both diving in to try and make that happen. Is Customs going to be able to punish this down the other side? It's a race between these two teams to get that infield, and Lanners is waving the checkered flag here for DSQ.
Yep, he needed it, and they needed that answer back before that last 30 seconds comes in play. We've got 48 seconds on the clock. We're all tied up once again. DSQ still out of this game, and they want to make it to match point themselves. So if they can keep their momentum going now and get that goal, Jamjar needs to heat up, but that's an unfortunate miss. It doesn't open the net. All of a sudden, Big Chips capitalizes off of the restart, and unfortunately, Jamjar, he had all the boost to work with. He had all the opportunities to hit it, and he flies past the ball, opening it up. Even though Big Chips has no boost to work with, he doesn't need it when it's that open.
Sometimes you just get that spurt of confidence that tells you you're going to hit that touch. I would very much know, and sometimes you just don't, which I would also very much know. But 30 seconds left on this clock, and DSQ have an attack starting to brew. Customs is going to turn, not going to find the boost. It's going to find it eventually, but Lana's will get a touch. Fez just to collect this one from the corner. Such a key player, but he won't find it here on this occasion. They just need to hold on to this lead here with 20 seconds remaining. Jamjar's back over to Customs. DSQ are just looking to sort of hold on to this ball, looking to try and create that final attack, and they'll get one more chance at doing so. Pop onto the sidewall by Aether. Jamjar's in field. It's going to be a stop there from Fez. But it's the wrong time. A save from Chebs as well. It looks like Dexterity might have just done enough to hold on to game number 5, and they put themselves on series points here in the play-ins.
Wow. I mean, it didn't look like it was going that way, but unfortunately, Jamjar, with a miss in the end, he'll be biting himself at the end of that after realizing what could have been. It was all tied up, and with 40 seconds to play, Chebs capitalizes, makes his second goal of the game. And you know what? That one was as close as it could ever have been, to be fair. You're looking at the stats across the board there. You can just see the amount of shots being played from both sides, and both getting enough goals there to make the chance and make it theirs. But it is Ocalidus that does have it on match and series point. What a chance for them, for Dexterity, to move on to game number 2.
Yeah, what a chance for them, especially, you know, rocking up in here with their sub. Fez, like we've mentioned it multiple times, had a great series so far. And what a way to cap it off than a Game 6 victory. Or will DSQ Livens push back? I mean, it would be crazy to go the distance with this series. That everybody said this series had no right to go the distance. People said this would be a dispatch here from DSQ. Joke not intended. But yeah, as we go into game number 6 with Neo Tokyo, we're going to find out now, Mark, if we're going the distance, if we are going to game number 7, if we will see Champions Field for the 3rd time out of 4 series so far in Academy, or if this dream for DSQ is all but over. A season that was turned around after a horrible start has had such great prospects, but for that all to come crashing down now,
oh no,
such a disappointment as Big Cheb seals the first here for DXT.
And guess what? Another kickoff opportunity that he capitalizes on with an opening net. rsc can't get back quick enough, and within 3 seconds, the quickest goal so far of the series now. It was 6 seconds, now it makes it 3 seconds, and you've got the Dexterity side in the lead.
You certainly do. And Champions Field calls for one of these teams. That team is DSQ. And Dexterity, I want to try and seal this one off now. They've got that goal already on the board. And they've got experienced players who know what it's like to be under the pressure, under the lights. It will be Chebs finding that demo. And
it's a great ball.
On the other side, it's Lana's who finds the equalizer 30 seconds in, and both of these teams, you can see how much they want it.
Yep, just a cheeky little tip over the top. It saves it, and it goes into the bottom corner. We've only 30 seconds gone. We've got 2 goals already. This series is definitely far but over. This is going to be what TSQ need now. An answer back as quickly as that. Can they find that momentum now to take that lead?
Lana's with a catch here. Back middle. Double commit here from DSQ. This can be quite easily punished down the other side, and Aether's going to attempt to do it, but the cut back into the rotation from Lana's. DSQ not quite done as they look to rebuild, not just the rotation, but also rebuild maybe some hope in the series here. They've been able to find the equalizer, but now Jamjars is tested on the defense. It's back and forth here, Mark. The pressure goes both ways. Both teams have had their time in the hot seat, and this time is DSQ's, but if Dexterity lose this game, all of a sudden, things become oh so much more difficult for them. It's a
Jump shot! Oh!
It's Chebs who blocks it out.
Chebs has been having an absolute great couple of matches here. He's keeping them at bay here, and he's also getting the opportunities towards the goal and making the lead go their way. And it's going to be Axford who gets the opportunity. Fez is off of the crossbar, and all of a sudden Dexterity lead the way once again. A little bit of miscommunication here in the back, I feel like that was from DSQ. Nobody knowing where they should be covering, and all of a sudden it is a game that could be slipping away from you here if you're DSQ. You could be down and out here. You need to answer back quickly once again as you did in that first goal. Can you find it? Can Customs and Jamjar do the work? Jamjar's been doing so much defensive work. He needs to start getting more on the offensive, get the opportunity to get the goals that he was getting in that 7-1 game. It just shows you no matter how many goals you can score in one series, it's not about the goals. It's about the wins of the matches. And currently you are losing in that scenario, and they need to bounce back quickly in this one.
This was the worst time ever, by the way. Hello, by the way, to anyone who's subscribed to RSC on Twitch. Worst time ever for a 3-minute ad break to play. But yeah, this is the premium stuff you subscribe for.
3 minutes? Who even does that?
I don't know, but yeah, it will be Dexterity who so double down on their lead. It's Fez once again here for Dexterity. From the halfway line to the back of the net, shooting straight. And Dexterity find themselves another goal. My goodness, Mark, what are we witnessing? The super sub who rocked up with a hope and a dream now looks to put his team into the next round, but 2.5 minutes still stand in their way.
Yep, it is very much not over yet. But 2-goal lead is exactly what you need. Customs is going to answer one to opportunity, but Fez is once again there to stop it from going in the back of his net. He's keeping that lead to 2. Nice wee pass and play here. Opportunity to try and cut it back. It's going to be straight to the opposite side. Fez is there. Opportunity for Chebs. Can he get there quick enough? No, he can't. It's going to be Customs. He gets it. Passes the play to Lanner. He's going to try and get it back central, but it's going to be Axel that intercepts it. Jamjar once again saving it on the line.
Saving it on the line, but there will be no follow-up on that attack. It will go back over to the Livens side of the field where Fez tried to intercept but couldn't quite find the answer. Jamsjar taking it back from square one, and Chebs also intervening. Aether, that's a brilliant touch. If Chebs can finish the dinner, as Dexterity extend their lead once again and look to try and force themselves into the next round of the play-ins.
Yep, he's all happy for sure. That is a 3-goal lead with just under 2 minutes on the clock. Calidus looking to seal it here before going to game 7. They don't want to go further in the distance. They want to get this sealed and done. Customs though straight off the kickoff, looking for the flick of the centre. It's going to be good towards Lanners, but he's going to miss. Jamjar's going to follow up though, and it is going to be in the goal finally. It looked like it was coming, but it was just who was going to do it.
Yeah, and Lana's just absolutely whiffed the ball there. I thought that was going to be the end of the opportunity, but you said it, Mark, beforehand. Jamsjar needed to start getting back on the scoreboard and answers the call immediately. Well, maybe not immediately, you know, we give it 2 minutes or so, but I think that's good enough, right? There's still some chances, there's still some opportunities, and maybe Chebs is gonna go and try and take those away. Not quite now, but minute 30 left on this clock. DSQ, they need to find the play.
Almost plays it nice and well there for Dexter. It almost drops it straight down to Fez, and opportunity to try and put it in. But this is going to be the chance to get one more back. Unfortunately, Axer's going to be there on the goal line. Lanner 6 looking for the flick over the top. Unfortunately, can't deal with that one. Customs, though, still has the opportunity. No boost to play with, though. So what can he do from here? He at least centres it. Jamjar and Lanner's going to double commit to it, but Fez goes up, gets the demo. And now pressure on Dexterity. Can they get this ball away from their defensive side? And it looks pretty good for it for a matter of seconds, but nobody really got any boost to work with here on that DSQ side. Almost. That was one of them heart and mouth moments there for DSQ. We thought maybe it was an opportunity once again, but it is going to be Fez. Oh, challenging Customs though. Chebs still keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, well, 40 seconds left here. DSQ, they need a breakthrough. Maybe it's going to be Lanas to deliver. Off of the sidewall, 100 boost to work with. A passing play in field potentially found, but Customs wasn't on the same page. Ava rips up all the pages here and tears down DSQ's book. I mean, what are we witnessing this series? DSQ approached it with a scrapbook of plays that they wanted to do, a way that they wanted to play, and a goal that they wanted to achieve. But Dexterity Calidus, without their main roster, with their sub, are looking to move forward to a matchup against Vortic Riffle.
Yep, it is all but surely sealed, dealed, signed, sealed, delivered, we'd say here if we were Stevie Wonder, but we're ready to get into this. It's not done blindly here. They have done it in fine fashion. A 5-2 potential win here coming for Dexterity. 5 more seconds, the timer click is down, and it is going to be the Series W for Dexterity Calidus. They will move on to our next game. They'll be warm enough and they'll be happy with how that played out there for sure. Big Chips getting the MVP for that match. Surely must be one of the standout MVPs for the series. A score like that as well, 6-9-6. I do love that number, can't lie about that. But 2 goals, 3 saves, 2 shots off of it. Fantastic overall from the Dexterity side. They started off strong, a little bit lackluster in the middle for a couple of games for DSQ, but they answered back quickly and they found a rhythm to get themselves the win. Hodge, all against our predictions for sure.
Yeah, very much the case. I was a hater. I did not believe Fez. I was
going off of your prediction. I can't lie.
Yeah, well, I was going off of everyone's
You're the knowledge man, as far as I was aware.
There's no point having knowledge in this tier. It doesn't get you anywhere. But yeah, I mean, the MVP for that series, you called it there, Mark, is of course Big Chebs. Massive impact found across the pitch, but mostly notably in the saves department there. 10 saves and some demos on the board as well. A massive shout out as well to Axiom, the main roster player of Dexterity, who couldn't make this game, still in the chat supporting the boys. So massive shout out to her, and hope Dexterity can continue this run throughout the play-ins. And they've got a matchup very, very shortly here, Mark, against Vortic Riffle. Should we have another look at the schedule and see what we've got left here today?
Yeah, we have got a couple more games still to come your way. It is Calidus who move on to round 2 here in the Academy play-ins, and it's going to be up against Riffle next. Can they repeat what they've just done here against the DSQ roster, or are Riffle going to be a little bit of a difficult challenge for them? I'm sure it will be either way, but I mean, it should be a really interesting matchup. Calidus are going to be very warm after that game. They're going to be ready to come all blazing. And then we have our upper round bracket coming after that as well, which I won't be getting to cast, but GM will be casting that. Hodge, it's been an absolute pleasure to cast alongside you once again. I mean, it's been a while. Hopefully it isn't too much longer again, because we need to get back in the rhythm of it. I need to get back in the rhythm of RSC, especially some Rocket League. But ladies and gentlemen,
we've got lots of playoff action coming up. I'm sure you'll be able to fit in.
There's a lot.
I want to give a massive shout out as well to Chrome Husky playing later on today, representing the Ignis conference, and we've got another Ignis team getting the win here today as well, with Dexterity taking down DSQ. So for everybody who sat there a week ago and said, "Oh, Glacies is so much better. Glacies is going to take down every single team. Glacies." Once again, we're seeing the same thing as last season, where the Ignis teams, or the team who everyone didn't predict, the conference everyone didn't predict to do well, is doing well. So go on, Chrome Husky, go on.
So what you're saying is the Glacies conference have just been glazing it, thinking that they have the opportunity to go on and do what they want. They're just the best side. Well, clearly not as it stands. Ignis, fair play to use it. It's another win on the board, but let's see. Can Husky do it later on as well? We'll figure it out. But next up, it is going to be Riffle. It is going to be Calidus up next for game number 2 in this play-ins lower bracket. We'll join you back for that one very shortly.
This isn't just merch, it's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
looking for somebody to make memories in the bank forever in time. There's no reason to be hard to find, 'cause we've already lost our mind. You and me, we're gonna write a little history. You and me, just show me love and then you'll see. Memories that we make, they are never gonna fade for a lifetime. We don't give no shit if you wanna hide away. We just out here trying to play second drills up in the memory bank.
This isn't just merch, it's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
Welcome back, everyone. We just came off of a fantastic series. Canada's making our way through to this second game round here, where they play up against Vortex Riffle. It is going to be a really interesting matchup. Joined this time by GM. How are we doing this fine day?
I'm doing all right on this playing's evening. We're continuing from last night. We saw a few series last night, and now we're continuing the lower bracket. Canada's 5th from Ignis. They took out 6th from Glacies. Now they have to step up. They have to take out 4th place from Glacies to stay in the tournament. And with this being a lower bracket match, both teams must win this Whoever loses, they are out of the running completely. There are no more second chances. I mean, that's what happens when you don't finish in the top 3 of your conference. But Calidus getting the job done with a sub in the previous series. But I wonder whether Riffle, I wonder whether that will be a whole different beast that they have to take on.
100%. It's definitely going to be a difficult more task than the previous series, but they did come out of that in quite fine fashion. That super sub was doing a fantastic work of Fez there. If he can keep going the way he was doing and Chebs just doing what Chebs does best, then DXT are definitely not out of this one before we even get going. I mean, this could be a really interesting series. Yeah, stats lines and scores and leagues play might look like it could be a Vortex easy win. They get the second hand, but DXT are going to be strong coming into this one after a strong win. So I mean, you're going to be warm, you're used to playing a full series now. You've just played a total of 6 games already. You'll be ready to start off strong, hopefully like they did in the previous series as well. If the Dexterity do start off strong, it could be a difficult task here for Riffle.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what sort of warm-up Riffle have, but I think with Dexterity not being full strength, with Axiom not being available, I think that could play into Riffle's hand. I'm not really sure if Calidus a pot for rsc-eu tonight. I'm not sure if they played with that combination of players before in the season. I wonder whether there'll be a lack of chemistry on that part, and whether Riffle can take advantage of that.
Exactly. They'll see if they can try and take advantage of that as quickly as possible. We'll be getting into the action as quickly as possible. We're ready to go. We're going to be loading in to game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. It is Riffle versus Calidus, who goes on to that next stage in the playoffs. This is all it to play for here in our first game. Best of 7 notes, so nobody is going to be able to figure it out early doors. But if Dexterity starts strong, I feel like my momentum might well shift towards them. If you're going to give a prediction here, GM, what would you be given?
I think it looks like Riffle are full strength, so I think I'm going to give it to him, and I'm actually going to say 4-1 to Riffle.
Oh, brave. But I'm not going to go to the same wins. I'm going to be saying, I think Calidus, with the strength that they have just from a game beforehand, I'm going to give them a couple more games. I feel like we go game 7. I think it's going 4-3 Riffle, though.
I mean, we'll have to see how that goes. I have been proven wrong many a time this season. We'll have to see whether this is any different this time around. Calidus will be hoping that I have jinxed Riffle, but that doesn't matter anymore. They need to do their talking on the pitch, and the kickoff actually goes Riffle's way. Safer not able to do that much with it, goes straight to Flaky. Hell going in with a 50. It doesn't really come to anything, as the first few seconds have passed and not really too much to talk about on the pitch at least.
Yep, this is where it started last time in the first game of the series. It was all about figuring things out, getting themselves touches early on. That's going to be an open net in the back there, but Dexterity at least have that covered. Big Chip's having to do the work, but runs out of boost. Bassy Boy going to try and set it up. It's Fez is going to send it up to the right-hand side of the pitch as this goes back and forward. Like I said, there's no real opportunity until we start working things together, but that was going to go right over the top of Chess. Thankfully, nobody is there to answer back. Bassy Boy goes flying past it, and therefore Oxford will at least trying to send it upwards with the help of his teammate. Chebs centers it. Chance for Chebs to keep going forward. Bassy Boy intercepts and sends it back the opposite direction.
Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, that could be interesting, but is there anyone there? And it still doesn't go in. There's an absolute calamity at the back by Riffle, but Calidus not able to punish. That's a huge talking point concerning how little had happened in the first minute of this game. Also on Calidus, they had the whole goal to play with, but just couldn't get the shot off, and still we are locked at 0-0. Maybe a chance for Riffle to do something, but that clearance, that could be awkward, but Hell is there to clean things up. Get a bit of Chebs, but there's no one there on the fault lane. We've seen a couple of times where Riffle, they get the source, they get the ball into a promising position, into a dangerous position, but there's just no one there to follow up. I mean, we do see it quite a lot of times in a lot of other series where the second man just isn't there to receive the pass.
Well, that's going to be Unfortunate opportunity there, but at least Flaky can send it away from his goal line. He can't be playing too flaky, because if he does, there'll be a chance for Chebs and Co to kind of capitalise on the opportunity. Nobody, once again, with boost to kind of answer back there from the pass of Axford, but it's Flaky who goes to the sky. Chebs intercepts it, a chance to drop it down to Axford, but he is only going to send it as far as the right hand side, where Bassy Boy is going to interact with that one, send it past the two players who double commit. Is this the opening that Riffle need? Flaky's in the sky, he's going to miss it. Both teams will miss it, and it will at least keep it to a 0-0 scoreline. We're halfway through game number 1 already, and yet nobody's really had a clear-cut chance.
No, and I feel like Riffle, I talked about him nearly 2 minutes ago. Calidus really sure punished the mistake by Riffle, and it's a role reversal, as Riffle really sure punished that double commit by Calidus.
Oh, the pass of play.
Opportunities are at such a premium, but Fez does put Calidus in front.
Nice pass of play. Axford looks to tap it back, and Fez is there. Bassy Boy could have reacted, but not quick enough. The backflip wasn't enough to stop that one from sneaking past him and going in. With 2 minutes left on the clock, it is Dexterity that lead the way here, following on from their momentum of their game 1 already in the cards today. They're warm, they're ready, they want to keep this momentum going forward, and Dexterity want to try and face off in the playoffs coming round, but it is game number 1. There is still time on the clock here, and Riffle are still yet to get anything really going here at this point in time. We've only had 1 shot from Hell, 3 shots from Flaky, but nothing really convincing.
I mean, to be fair, you could say the same of Calidus. They've only got 4 shots as well. It kind of goes to show just how few chances there have been for either side, but Calidus, that one chance he did have, they did take it. And Riffle, I mean, to be fair, you could say the chances that Riffle have had haven't been as clear cut as the ones that Calidus have had, but still, it goes onto a backboard. Is Bassy Boy able to follow? He does make contact, but just doesn't go towards a goal. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't the easiest read to make off the backboard. Riffle just not really able to create much going forward, just not able to threaten the Calidus defence nearly as much as they would like.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it was a close winning opportunity, but Leflect just below will drop it narrowly down rather than towards the goal. Once again, Chebs, he's up. He's got it off the back wall. Fez going to miss past it, but Afers there can help react to it. He can, but only as far as Axel coming back up towards it. Flaky, though, is once again the man on a mission. He's been up and at it a lot of these times here, trying to get this ball away from his goal line. Fez on the goal line will save Bassy Boy's opportunity, a mere shot at least, but that's going to be an opening net. Axel, has he got enough? Oh, he's not. It's off the post. He didn't have the angle completely tuned in, but you know what? 9 seconds left on the clock. This could still be the win that they need. Game number 1. Is it going to be finished by 1 goal? I think it, yes, indeed, will be. GM as it comes down from the roof. Can Flaky or anybody do it? Nope, it is done. Game number 1 done by 1 goal. A narrow win, but Dexterity have started off strong.
Yeah, they haven't. I think Riffle, they just never really got going. I mean, even when Calidus did make mistakes, I know talk about that double commit they had, and Riffle just weren't able to push it. I think that was kind of a point where he started to realize that Riffle, they just weren't really going to be able to get much from this game. If they weren't able to punish that kind of mistake, then what sort of opportunities were they able to be scoring from?
I mean, it was a very difficult chance for both of them to kind of find a goal, even though the amount of shots have been taken. 7 for Calidus, 6 on the side of Riffle, only 1 goal to decide the game. I mean, very strange scenario indeed, but very low scoring across the board as well, because they weren't really able to get the touches that they want. They weren't able to get some passing plays worked off together. Obviously, the goals and assists count up to a lot of scores on the door as well, so it does make a difference when it's a low scoring game like that. But if you are Calidus, you'll take any win whatsoever. It could be 1, it could be 7. I couldn't care less. They wouldn't care less either, I'm sure, because they have now knocked up 1 on that tally, and they know they only need 3 more wins here to go on and win it.
Yeah, they're doing. It's not like it's league play where goal difference could be a factor in the standings. There are no standings anymore. All of that has gone out of the window. It's just a matter of winning more games of a series and your opponents, and that's a huge chance for Fez. It's not taken, but Riffle, they aren't able to do anything on the counter-attack. Basketball is very awkward in a corner, but doesn't get punished. And it's just not quite coming together for either team, although Hell could drop it down just too high.
Passy Boy's
Massive
going to
on
get.
the floor,
Oh!
but saved by Big Chebs. Couple of really big opportunities, but none of them have been taken.
Well, I'm just putting that together. Saved by Big Chebs. I mean, that's been the story of game number 1. That was the story of the first series that they were playing as well. He was on that goal line. He was making the crucial saves. That's why he became the MVP. And this is why he is looking to keep his team going forward and keep getting that W wins in these games. After is going to send it upwards. Flaky is going to be back off the wall. In fact, Flaky is going to be back and forward from them so far. An open opportunity. Could Flaky get the touch? He can. He hits it off the backboard. Going for the double hit on towards Hello. He's going to direct it goal line and it's going to go in. Hello 0. It is going to be 1-0 to that side of Riffle. The Vortex side finally open up a scoring in the series.
Well, we're finally able to create something substantial. And I know I was going to talk about earlier about how Flaky maybe could have done better a shot, but I think from that car position it's just really hard to like wrap your car around to just hit it back across. But thankfully the possession didn't go to waste. And now, speaking of, Flaky puts Riffle 2-0 up.
Yep, a fantastic arrow. He's up there first. He gets there and Fizz can't react to it to direct it anywhere other than into the back of his net. 2-0 towards the Riffle side, and at this point in time, maybe that's what they needed. The game one got themselves dust off the cobwebs. They've got themselves in the game now. They're now 2-0 up. They scored more goals. They've doubled up the amount of goals that was scored in game number 1 already, and we're still got lots of time on the clock here. 3 minutes and 30 to say the least, and still opportunities for more goals for either side. Fez, though, if he can get going, as he has been the super sub for the side of Calidus, he'll be wanting to make sure that they can all work and combine together, because that's what's needed here now for dexterity. They just need to get themselves sorted as they were in game number 1. Fez making the save. King Arthur goes for the touch, and that's going to be doubled up, but it's going to go only as far as Bassy Boy. Nice interception from Chebs, and it dropped down. Nope, Flicky once again off the sidewall will deal with that.
Yeah, but, well, this could be interesting. It comes to Bassy Boy, the shots off
Oh, it's
the bump
open.
from Hell. And that is Riffle getting yourselves 3-0 up. And all 3 players have had a part in generating that lead.
Yep, you see the head shakes there from Arthur and Chebs. Not happy with the scenario as it stands. They're currently 3-0 down with just under 3 minutes left on the clock to try and answer back. But they've got the lead in the series, but so far this lead looks like it's going to be all tied up here. But still, need to work something from it. Get themselves back in the game. Get themselves back to a place where they felt more comfortable. Axer looks for the top. Not got any boost to deal with that one. Fez is going to have to get it off the wall, but it's Bassy Boy that's going to connect it. Gets it on the hood, flicks it over the top, an open net. It's going to be sideways. It's going to hit off the corner of the post there. Hello's going to try and get the answer back, but Chebs once again having to direct it away from the goal. I think he's actually put himself under pressure. Yeah, Arthur didn't have any boost there, but still manages to make that save. The follow-up from Bassy. Once again, it is saved from Fez.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't quite have the end result that you have wanted, but I really like the idea. I think he definitely had the right idea in taking a touch, trying to get the ball under control. And he did actually get the flick, but he just, after he got the flick, he couldn't quite get himself back around. But like I said, it's a really good idea, and we don't really see it that often at this level of just like take a touch and bring it under control. Usually we see it, they just like boom it up the pitch and hope while the teammates are there to follow. But it's really not. It's a really refreshing change to see a player just calmly take control of proceedings. And that could be interesting. It's self-opposed, but there's no one there to follow up. And Calidus, that's actually their first shot on target all game long. Kind of wondering what's happened to them compared to game 1.
I know they went from 7 shots in the first game, but now only just finding 1. And they're 3-0 down with a minute left on the clock. They need to start finding more opportunities and more shots towards that goal line of Riffle. But Riffle will be happy how the proceedings are holding up. That could be going over the top of Ches, but nope, he's going to be able to touch it back over. Can he see it from the demo? He's able to react again. Sends that towards the Riffle half. Fez looking to get off the backboard, does do so. Chebs can't reach it, but Acid Boy's got an opportunity to flick this. He's going to tweak it over the top, and all of a sudden it's an open end flick. He's going to hit it off. Oh, double crossbar opportunity. Could have made it 4-0. Thankfully for Dexterity, it didn't, but they've still got only 30 seconds to try and find 3 goals. It's very much unattainable at this stage, and a fair play from the side of Riffle. They've came out all guns blazing in this one, and they have started to convert all their opportunities. It will be a consolation goal here for King Atzer, unless they can do something magical from here. 19 seconds remains, and they find 2 kickoff goals as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think it's too little too late. I think the damage was already done. I mean, yes, in Atvor, and if Riffle had made it 4, then that would have definitely sealed it. But you can't feel that they already did enough. And especially Flaky picking up that loose ball. Fez trying to get it forward to Arthur, but it's just not coming together. I think that is game 2 done and dusted. It will be Riffle. They come roaring back after a rather flat display in game 1. They pump themselves up and they level the series at 1 game each.
Yeah, 1 game each, a 3-1 win in this one, a little bit more convincing than game number 1 was for them for sure, and you can see it by the shots that they were taking. A total of 10 shots being made, 3 of them converted, gives them the win in game number 2, ties up the series as it stands here for the Vortex Riffle side. Calidus now will be thinking, right, that wasn't the game that we wanted to play. That's not how we played our previous series. That's also not how we played game number 1. A little bit less opportunities being made from them. Maybe a little bit more tentative, thinking that Riffle are going to get themselves warm. They've finally got themselves in the series, and now we have a game on our hands once again, Jim.
Yeah, they do, and Riffle, they've done so well to come back. I mean, sometimes when teams like they start a series really slow, sometimes it could just take a while for them to come out of their shell. I think maybe that might be the case with Riffle. It might have just taken them that first game to wake up and just have that little bit of extra nous about them. But I'll be hoping that they can keep it up for the rest of the series. But Calidus, I'll be hoping that was just a flash of a pan, and that they can go back to having the better of proceedings for the rest of the series.
Yeah, well, let's see how we go. We progress into game number 3 with an all tied up series. Chances plenty in the last game there for Riffle. They'll be wanting to try and start off as strong as they ended that half as well. If they can do that, they'll be looking in fine form. There's the opportunity. All of a sudden it is done. 11 seconds. Well, that was all it needed. 11 seconds and goal number 1 is on the board.
Yeah, I feel like it can't give away. It can't start with King Arthur giving the ball away somewhat cheaply. And Fez tried as he might, couldn't quite get there, and in the end it resulted in Riffle getting the first goal, and things could be awkward again. So it's bouncing rather awkwardly, but no one there to follow up. It looks like Calidus can clear their lines, if only temporarily. Bassi gets a shot off them, not quite able to keep it out, and Riffle now 2-0 up.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate circumstance there. He tries to slow it down, but not enough to get it away from the goal line. 2-0 in the first 2 seconds of the game. Another strong start coming out here for the Riffle side. And I almost feel for Dexterity at this point in time, because you know how it started last time. It started strong. They got their confidence in the game. It took a while for Calidus to even start getting shots opportunities, but at least this time they're starting off getting a wee bit more opportunities towards the goal, and that's a chance to pass it in, and there we go, right past the goalkeeper, and it is going to be 2-1. First shot goes in from them, and then their first shot goes and gets converted fantastically well. Axer is going to be the one to get that one done, and now it is still a chance for both sides in this one. You continue to play your game. Bassy Boy, though, that's going to be an open net opportunity. Doesn't get the touch he needs. Flaky's going to get it, though. It's going to be just above the crossbar. Bassy Boy follows up, but the double commit in the save. Chebs doesn't want to take the touch. He keeps it out of the goal, but how long for is the question, because it's right there, ready for them, but nobody is on the end of it.
No, and I want to go back to that Kaiser scoring. It's such a good pass by Big Chebs. And there were 2 players back for Riffle. I think one of them tried to challenge for initial shot, and the other one tried to save the shot, but the other player was back. Like, didn't really do a good enough job of covering the front post, and then is able to sneak in. I mean, take nothing away for a shot. It's perfectly placed, so much power, but can't feel that with the way the Riffle players were positioned, maybe it could have been saved, but they are still in front. It could be a decent opportunity, but Fez able to cut that one out. And now Chebs, that's a good save. Out towards the wall, has to follow up on his own. Is there any support with him? The 50 against Hell, Arthur going up for it, but maybe took a bit too long as Hell beat him to it. Now Flaky off a wall, gets his second touch, but gets taken away from him. And also, it's looking rather scrappy. It looks like neither side can generate any kind of sustained pressure. Now Hell is looking rather awkward, gets the initial save, and there's a flop to get it further away. And it's like I mean, as I said before, it looks like neither side can regenerate that much pressure. It's also like back and forth. It's a bit of a scrappy game. It's just trying to get touches just to keep it away, out of immediate harm's way at least. But they can't do that as Riffle restore their 2-goal lead.
Yep. Nice one from Bassy Boy. Waits his time, hits it over the top. Flaky reacts quicker. Arthur doesn't have any boost to really deal with that in the defensive line. And now a 2-goal lead going the way of Riffle, looking once again in position to take this game. Number 3 on the cusp to take the lead of the series. Can they continue to go and move forward as the opportunity comes in from Hell, but it's going to be Chebs that makes the save. Once again, another opportunity from Bassy Boy, comes off for the side, but not towards the goal. Blakey quickly tries to do something there with it, doesn't manage to get the second touch, but that's still going goal world bound, but it is off the line. Bassy Boy almost somehow converted that into the corner. It wasn't to be the case, so it would have been a 3-goal lead and almost certain another win coming for that Riffle side. But now pressure back on their defensive line. Arthur's going to miss that one. Hell's going to get an opportunity to touch it down, but Fizz is back and will stop that one from going in for now.
Yeah, it feels like Riffle, they've upped up the tempo a bit, and Cardus, I think now that they're starting to panic, they're not quite sure how to react to it. As that's a good touch. Can Arthur play it into middle? He does, but there's no one there to receive it. And it is clear to Fez. That's very good composure there. It's going around it. And now Arthur isn't quite there in Hell. Can't quite direct it. Goal was trying to play the pass back. Maybe just beyond Bassy Boy. Chances wasted. Blakey trying to play it back in. As Hell out towards the wall. Does get the follow-up. That could be dangerous.
Oh, what a
And
save from Fez.
Fez. And less than a minute to go. Cardus, they technically still have a chance. It isn't completely out of their hands yet, but they do need to get out of their half quickly.
Yeah, not of their contention at all, but Flaky is going to keep the pressure on. He's going to send it towards Bassy. Bassy's going to hit it off the post. It's class/crossbar, one of the two, but it's going to be still possession favouring towards the Riffle side as they keep putting the ball in their opposition's half, and that means that the time is ticking down quicker and quicker. It makes it even more difficult from the dexterity roster to try and do something with it. The ball getting sent constantly towards your goal line. No boost, nothing to work with, and no opportunity to get a shot towards the goal line. Bassy Boy going to pass it down. Hell's going to be there. Their time is ticking. We're into the red, and it is looking like another win here for Riffle. 2 more seconds. They're definitely going to be done. Another consolation goal at the end there, but King Arthur will slot that one home. It's a 3-2 win for Riffle in game number 3. They take the lead in the series to 2-1.
Yeah, it's just too late for Canada in the game. I mean, if that goal had just been like a couple of seconds earlier, then maybe they'd have still had a chance to snatch it, but Riffle, it feels like they've really grown into the series. I mean, first game, as I said, was not particularly great, but second game they really started to find their footing, and now that they found their footing, they're really setting in and building on it. I'm not really sure if Calidus can keep up.
Yeah, at this point in time, I don't think they can. At this point in time, the amount of saves that they had to make, Calidus, how long can that go on for? Though is the question. As we do have Bez leaving the lobby for a second, didn't see if there was a timeout called whatsoever, so we'll wait to see them get reset. But yeah, for Calidus, I mean, you had to make a lot of saves. You're pinned back in your goal for a lot of that half. You did eventually get a goal in the end to make it 3-2, so the scoreline looks a little bit better. But overall, really, their goal came from nothing, really, and Riffle pretty much had full ascendancy in that matchup, looking like they were going to go on to win that one from pretty much 2.5 minutes onwards. It felt like that was it. They had it sorted. They were ready for it, and they were just keeping things going. They've got their momentum behind them. They're leading the way in the series. Can they take this now to match point by winning this next matchup here in this best of 7? GM and predictions still going all right, looking Riffle's way, but what do we think? We still think Riffle's got this momentum to take the win?
I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes. I mean, I don't really see them slip. Although Calidus
Axiom's
has
in.
made a substitution. Axiom has stepped in place of Fez. They are back to full strength. I'm not sure whether there was a tactical substitution or whether it was made out of necessity. Although now that they're back to full strength, and I can't wonder what sort of warm-up Axiom has had. But
Well,
can't
Fez has
wonder
been
how
playing
that much
fantastically too.
connection.
I feel like Fez hasn't even been that bad throughout the series as well, and throughout the last. I mean, Axiom was meant to be available, but he was in the Twitch chat. He is now on the pitch, trying to put his team in an opportunity in this series. He wants to be in the playoffs. He wants the opportunity, but Bassy Boy gets the opportunity towards goal line. Chebs is going to be the one to send it upwards from the save. He's going to get a chance on goal. Flick is there on the goal line. Axler's going to look for the odd answer back, but it is stopped for now. Therefore, send it back goal line. Axiom in the air, double tap opportunity from the drop down. After goes for it, but the challenge works for Bassy.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's good.
Well, could that be for Calidus instead? It is saved. Now Chebs into corner, trying to find a second touch, but Cal made a mess of it, just put himself in too deep there. But now it goes back into a corner. Actually looking for a follow-up. It is on target. Not the greatest clearance. Basketball has to follow up. There's no one back. And Big Chebs does give Calidus a lead.
Yep. That is. Maybe is that to do with the substitution? Bringing on Axiom, has this changed the way they play the game? I'll be happy that they've got the first goal in this matchup, because that is what they need to feel a little bit more comfortable in this game, because they've lost the last two first goals in the last two games and they've went away of Riffle. But 3.5 minutes on the clock. Riffle answer back quickly here. Can they? There's an opportunity. It's going to go off the backboard. Challenge comes in, directed to the right side of the goal, but it's going to be help that sends it goal bound once again off the bar. Bassy Boy off the side, still not getting a chance to convert this. That might actually go the opposite direction and into his own goal side. Unfortunately, nobody from Dexterity can get on the end of it.
No, and well, it's still danger, still not completely dealt with. As Hell not able to get there. Arthur putting it into the corner. It's an awkward bounce. Bassy Boy can't deal with it. Back into a backboard. It's still not properly cleared. And Chebs looking to have his way with the defense. But Flaky able to make the save, but still Riffle struggling to clear their lines. Still not able to get out of her in half. Flaky needs to win with this 50. He doesn't. It goes to a backboard. Heller's looking rather awkward. Not the greatest touch, but there's such a good demo on Arthur by Flaky. But still, Riffle, they just need to find a way out. And it's not going to happen. And Flaky might have just relieved it there. Bassy Boy trying to get it beyond Chebs, but not able to do so. But they are at least out of their own half now.
Yeah, Axiom has definitely brought a little bit of spice to the game now. It's putting Riffle under a little bit more pressure here. The amount of opportunities they're having in the half. And now Arthur, He goes up. He's got boost to play with. Hell's up there though. He goes to send it towards Bassy Boy. Nice wee passes off the crossbar. Chebs deals with it in the back end, but the opening goal opportunity. But Hell misses onto it. Chebs now. Can he connect to Axiom? It's going to go centre. It's not going to be down low enough though for Axiom to put that towards the goal. Fortunately, but now it's open and Chebs just flies past and misses. Unfortunately, a little bit too late to the challenge. But that one is not from Axiom. That's goal bound, but Hell is dealing with that and makes the save. It is definitely more pressure coming from Dexterity roster this time out, and this is what they need.
Yeah, it is. And you talk about the open net, and now Riffle level it. I was going to say about how Chev's on open net is actually Hell getting that touch just to take it away from him, but instead it's Calidus overcommitting, and Hell just sending a ball straight in to the Calidus net.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Axiom just going to one side of the ball and it went to the other side, and Hell was there to answer it into the open net. It's tied up in the matchup. It's not going to be tied up in the series yet. But if they can bounce back quickly, Dexterity get another goal on the cards, there's a chance, but it's going to be the opposite direction. Hell passes it towards Bassy. He slots it, converts it. It's done. It's 2-1. 53 seconds remain. It came off the top of the board. The demo coming straight out opens up the goal, and all of a sudden it is sent home from Bassy Boy. The 2-1 lead after being down and under the pressure for the majority of the first half and most of that second half. It is now the lead, but an opening net. Chebs converts those every single time. There we go, 2-2, back to a square game.
Well, just as I was about to talk about that second Riffle goal, and it's Calidus going straight down the other end. Off of kickoff, I was going to say, it was an awkward bounce off the backboard, so neither were properly there to deal with it, and it's just Bassy Boy there at the back post. That bouncing shot, which we do tend to see a fair bit, catches out the defence, and Calidus, they have given themselves a lifeline as Cheb's going up for it, but was looking very awkward, and now has to get the 50 against Bassy Boy, which he does. And now Hell playing it towards Bassy Boy, but Arthur cuts it out, but not a proper touch. And now Bassy Boy off a backboard, and Chebs does make the clearance. That's bouncy off the ceiling. Flaky does get there. It is rather awkward. It's not on target though. There's the initial clearance, but there's no one there for Riffle to put it away. And 10 seconds now. Can't feel that this game is really up for grabs as Bassy Boy got underneath, and Flaky might have just won it for Riffle.
With 5 seconds to spare, it drops down. Flaky gets it and it bounces back to his car and over the top of Chebs into the back of the net. It is looking 3-1 on the cards unless the quickest of goals come again from this restart. We've already seen Chebs doing it from the restart, but this time round it is Bassy Boy beating him to it. Chebs nowhere near it. The ball is going to go all other way across the pitch. It is going to be Riffle that take it from the grasps, and unfortunately this Vortex side are just looking to continue the trend of getting the W when they need to. When it didn't look like it was theirs to win, with all the chances coming from Calidus, it was still Riffle's game in the end. A 3-2 win takes them to 3-1 in the series. Match point up for grabs now. The chance to seal the deal and move on.
Yeah, it is, and I kind of wonder whether Calidus are going to call a timeout. I mean, they are 3-1 down. They have got some issues that they need to fix, and we saw like they had that substitution. They brought Axiom in, but Axiom may be having a bit of a quiet game, failed to hit triple digits in terms of points. And Calidus, they have made the decision to not have a timeout. And I can't wonder
Brave.
what sort of impact that will have. Clearly, they still have confidence in themselves, but I can't wonder what else they have up their sleeves in order to just break the stranglehold that Riffle have over this series.
Yep, Vortex Riffle side looking to seal the deal right here, right now, as we kick ourselves kicked off. Big Chev's best to it. Gets the demo following that on towards Flaky. Axiom tries to pass it to Arthur, but unfortunately he only gets it to the side wall. Miss from Bassy Boy. Is going to open up for Axiom as he gives the pass off the backboard. Chebs goes for the challenge up off the roof. Fortunately, nobody connecting to that one down below. Hell, though, he's trying to counter-attack with it. He's headed at goal line. Thankfully, Arthur sends it away from Will Just.
Very well, and 30 seconds have passed. There aren't really been
That's
that
a
many
goal.
opportunities, but hell, the first chance of the entire game has been converted. It's a bit of a mess at the back for Cardus. King Arthur's touch off the backboard isn't really as far as he would have liked, and hell, picking up that loose ball and firing it into the bottom corner.
Yeah, not the touch that Arthur wanted in the back there, but Chebs, are they trying to respond quickly? He gets it off. That's to double commit in the defense. Arthur off the backboard, not as far as Chebs, but then Arthur is going to make up for it. No, he doesn't. He does eventually. He comes off of the keeper in the back, but he does hit the post here. And I felt like Arthur, that was his opportunity gone a miss, but thankfully the response off the ball comes from Bassi, and it converts it goal-wise. You can see the celebration from him in the screen there. He's thankful that that eventually went in. It's 1-1 in the first minute.
Well, it's not the prettiest goal that you will see, but they all count. And sometimes those scrappy goals, those are the ones that can boost morale the most when it seems like things aren't going your way and something does finally go your way. Sometimes it's just that little thing which can completely change a feel of a series. It can give you such a big boost. Although there's a shot which needs to be dealt with and it isn't.
That is some shot. You see Chebs waiting for the opportunity to get the full boost. Bassi gets in the perfect position to send it goalwards, and Arthur once again just can't react in the right direction to get that ball from going in the back of the net. It is going to be Vortex side once again leading the way in this matchup on that match point as well, and up the series point for going on. And that's going to be Chebs. Oh, he answers back and equalises from nothing really. But I mean, you'll take it nonetheless. Arthur once again getting involved in a nice wee pass off the corner. Nobody's home. Chebs sends it into the back of the net. It's 2-2 in this game. He's got more opportunities and more shots already in his first minute and a half than we have seen in some of these games overall for the whole 5 minutes. So this is looking to be a really hotly contested game.
Yeah, it isn't. I just want to say there's a double commit at the front post, so that kind of set. But now there's a third goal. I think now it kind of leans into like overall. I think game 5, the defense has been very much left to be desired from both teams. Looking, I mean, there haven't really been that many opportunities. It's just that the opportunities that have come, they haven't been defended very well at all, and it feels like any kind of shot has a good chance of going in. The defense has just really not been very good. Although there's a good save coming in, and that shot goes wide. And I think whichever team can shut the defense is going to be the team that wins.
Yeah, Bassi Boy with back-to-back saves on the goal line there. Fantastic one at the first one. That one a little bit easier to deal with, but it is still dexterity, still trying to mount that pressure as much as possible. Hell's going to send it goal bound though, opposite way. It's not going to be anywhere near going in, but at least keeps pressure for dexterity. As there's Arthur having to make the save in the back from Hell's opportunity. He sends it back up though, and Chebs is going to get the touch over the top. Can he commit to and get another touch? He does. It's off the backboard. Axiom's there, chance to hit it but misses past it, and it'll be at least dealt with for a few more seconds. A nice wee pass to Arthur, and he's going to try and send it goal bound. It's off the right side of the goal, not towards the goal, but almost. Opportunities mounting here for dexterity, but the counter-attack could be good from Bassi Boy. Axiom's up there though, and he's managed to convert it away from goal. This one isn't, no, and that's going to be Flaky to get the equaliser. It is falling short there, unfortunately, from Axiom. There, Hell gets the opportunity to send it across goal. Flaky, that angle is tight, but he slots it home.
Yeah, such a good shot, and you mentioned a tight angle, but also how Chebs was covering the back post, so the front post was the only post for it to go, and that makes the angle even tighter and the shot even more impressive. Hellhound to commit as last man gets the right kind of challenge, which was crucial because it probably would have conceded if it wasn't. And now things have started to settle down a little bit, at least in terms of the rate at which goals have been scored. It was like both teams are kind of settled defensively, at least, I mean, there still are a couple of double commits here and there, but that is to be expected. But it feels like the defense has been tightened up a little bit by both sides, and now they're trying to find different ways to break each other down. That's a very good first touch by Hell. Tries to take it all the way, and he does.
Maybe slipping from their grasp again here. They had the lead, they had opportunity, looking better in this game, but Hell just dribbles it to the goal line and slots it home. It is going to be 4-3, the lead. And now the side of Calidus are fighting to stay in the play-ins, fighting to stay alive in the tournament. They're behind and they could be going out unless Chebs and Co can answer back quickly. They're looking for an opportunity. Flaky's on the goal line, sends it to the right side of the goal and sends it back up the pitch. Arthur's back, but it's an open net, an open opportunity. Flaky can get the touch. The demo comes in from Axiom though, but then the goal was still there. It's off the corner of the post. Bassy Boy, can he touch it? He does. It's also to the left-hand side of the post and not inside the goal. Thankfully for Dexterity, they're keeping it at bay. A 2-goal lead from now, which surely is seal the deal for the side of Riffle, and they are still trying to mount the chances, starting to mount new opportunities to finish this one off. That's going to be open net. If you're fast enough to it, Chebs, you don't have any boost and you can't get to it quickly enough. Flaky deals with it, flicks it forward. Hell's there in the post. It's opportunity Arthur off the line.
I think that's the danger for Riffle. And you can understand the initiative of wanting to get that 5th goal, which would put the game and the series to bed. But then they have to be careful of these overcommits, of how the last man too high up. But they do get that 5th goal, as I was saying, which would put the game and series to bed. I kind of feel that 14 seconds left, a 2-goal deficit. I don't know if there's any way back for Calidus now.
Yeah, I mean, this momentum in the last quarter of this game has definitely went away. And there you go, an opening net, sealed deal, 6-3, done and dusted. Opening net, finish it off. All of a sudden, Riffle have sealed the series win. They will move on, they will progress, they'll put out the side of DXT. Dexterity Calidus are out of the tournament here. But you know what? They put a fair old chance at it. They tried everything possible. They brought in Axiom. She didn't manage to turn the tide for them. But it is well and truly Riffle's day to celebrate, as they will look to finish this one off with maybe another goal. Nope, not another goal, but it is done. GG to both sides. A fantastic game had, but the team Vortic will take the lead. They'll take the win. They'll be happy with how it ended. A 4-1 victory. That's your prediction, wasn't it, as well, GM?
It was.
It was. Look at that. You knew it. You had it sorted. It was already written. Already done.
And speaking of already done, as Calidus run in the play-ins, done, finished. But Riffle, they're still in with a chance of winning the Academy tier. But in terms of the series stats, as we said, 4 games to 1. And Riffle also, because after a very flat game 1, they were really able to get their act together going forward. Really turned it on going forwards. Calidus weren't really able to cope. And in terms of actual possession, it's actually very even, and which I do think is quite surprising. I think it's just that they were able to, the opportunities that they did generate, they were of higher quality, and the series MVP is Hell, which doesn't really surprise me too much. It's just a very good all-round performance. 5 goals, 5 assists, 5 saves. Just a good all-round performance. Not really like stand out in a particularly, just a very good side performance. And 17 shots, so really putting on the pressure. And I think that was a key reason behind them able to progress in the bracket.
100%. I mean, I was hoping for a closer game. I was thinking a 4-3 prediction. Dexterity were looking close to it in some of them games, but just in the end, it just didn't have the steam to take it across the line and keep that lead that they had. It was always just a 1-goal lead for the most part when they did have the lead, and Riffle just reacted to it. And when they find a lead, they can mount a lead and they can get more and more goals following up from each other, and that's exactly what's happened here. They've managed to take the win. They improved themselves in the tournament, and now they're hoping to try and go the distance. Now it's going to be a difficult task from here because you've got the upper bracket sides who are clearly maybe a little bit better overall, but I mean, it is knockout tournament at this point in time. It's just about the game that you play, and you're hoping for that one going forward. Next up, though, we're going to have Husky versus Drenger, the battle in the upper bracket. Nobody goes home now from here on out, at least for this evening, but they will be looking to advance through the upper bracket, or one will drop down and see where they go from there. But as it stands, you've got Xinjiang and Riffle through already through that lower bracket run. Fantastic from Riffle, well played. GM, you are returning back for that final match of the day. I really do appreciate you coming along for this one, and appreciate you casting again by side to you once again. It's been a while, it's been some fun, and it was a great series once again.
Yeah, it wasn't really grateful to be casting alongside you again, but as we said, we do have one more series of the night, so don't go away just yet, because we will have Husky versus Drenger in the upper bracket right after this break.
This isn't just merch. It's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
So we can fly. I know that we will make it. I know that we will make it. I know that we will make it. I know that we.
Good evening and welcome back to the rsc-eu stream. We have the final series of the night. We are continuing with the Academy play-ins. Earlier on tonight, we saw Calidus beating Livers 4-2, and then we saw Riffle putting an end to that run by beating Calidus 4-1. And now we move on to the upper bracket, where we see Husky take on Drengir, third place from Ignis, take on second place from Glacis. I'm June667, and alongside me is Zach to take us through the final series of the night.
Yeah, how you doing tonight? It's been a good long day of Rocket League today. I just got off my shift at work. As you see, I'm still in my office actually, so just transitioned straight into Rocket League, which is how we like it here. But yeah, did you want to walk us through what we're looking at or what we've seen today as well?
Yeah, as I've mentioned before, we saw Calidus beating Livers 4-2, and that was with a sub as well. But as I said before, Calidus, their run did come to an end. Riffle beat them 4-1, so they go to the playoffs on Saturday. But now we go to the upper bracket, where we see Husky take on Drengir. So with it being upper bracket, whoever loses the series, they are not out of the tournament completely, but they will go to the lower bracket where they will take on Riffle. But I think we're seeing a lot of teams that do go to a lower bracket. A lot of teams that do go to a lower bracket, they do not tend to fare particularly well. Sometimes they go on that like huge run to the grand final, but they always just run out of steam. So even though it is an upper bracket match, it does feel like a kind of a must-win game, and the winner of the series will play Bro in the upper bracket. They will be playing Tjorns in the upper semi-final.
Yeah, and having a look at the stats here real quick between both teams, you see their current stats as well, and obviously, you know, Drengir, Team Berserkers, their stats are looking a little bit better at the moment. Everything from pretty much everything across, almost everything across the board, other than saves. But that just means they can be a more aggressive team. So I think this is going to be a must win for Huskies here, and I'm very excited to see what results from this.
Yeah, I am, and I think with Drengir, I feel like they have a good blend of experience and unknown quantities. I think Jim Gems, with that experience, has played in this league a fair bit, has had a couple of playoff runs himself. But all players Jalagut and Bilind are relatively new to the league. But as for Husky, I think they've got kind of like a similar makeup of team. Like Raw Rigi has a fair bit of experience. Kaji Hokori coming back after a couple of years away, but Just Tony, I think this is his first ever RC season. He joined mid-season and he has had a fairly good impact on the team.
Sorry, I just tabbed out of the game here. Yeah, and it's really important. I will probably need a bit of a pronunciation help with a few, so I'll let you take the lead on the names to start it off, GM, as well. But yeah, like if you look at the stats, right, we were looking at the team stats overall, and now the individual stats. If you just look at games played, overall across the board, Jim Jam, definitely highest on that, as well as overall highest on stats. So I'd expect to see a good performance out of him coming in through there. But then if you wanted to kind of take us through a little bit of Huskies.
Yeah, and I highlighted Raw Rigi. It looks like he's been one of their standout players. But Just Tony, even though he hasn't really played that many games, as I said, he did get signed mid-season and he has had quite a good impact, more than one goal a game, which is very impressive at any level, and an awful lot of the same number of saves as Raw Rigi, despite playing 16 games less. So he's had a very good impact on this team, and you can't wonder whether that will carry on into these playoffs. And I think well, having discussed the teams, having discussed the players, I think we'll move on to predictions. As for myself, I think with the impact that Tony has had on this team, I think I will back Husky to win this 4-2.
You know what? You took the words straight out of my mouth. I was actually looking at the exact same prediction there. I do back Huskies 4-2, but to make things different, I'll give Drengir one extra game. So we'll go 4-3 on this one, game 7.
I mean, we did see a game 7 exactly at this point yesterday, as it looks like the teams aren't quite ready yet, so we will delay it a little bit just for them to be ready. And like sometimes we have like a bit of a reputation for like 4 playoff games like running a bit behind schedule. Sometimes when they go to game 7, sometimes when they have those long overtimes and timeouts, like it all adds up. But this time around, we actually seem to be on schedule, so players maybe take a little bit longer than usual. Is it really going to have that much of an effect in that regard? But I wonder whether. Well, and now that Husky have been kept waiting, Jim Jones not being 100% ready, you can't wonder whether that will start them. Whether after if they've had a warm up, whether the effects of a warm up will be voided by Drengir not quite being ready in time.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is, sometimes you do get that warm up in, and then kind of giving that little break. As long as you can keep the mental game clear and clean throughout that little tiny period in between, you can come in. You have that warm up ready to go. And as long as, like I said, as long as you keep that mentality up, I think you're good.
Yeah, and I think mentality is such a big factor. It doesn't matter how good of a player you are if your mentals aren't great. I think mentals are a really understated part of our game. It's how you respond to when you're going behind, whether you give up or whether you push and you dig deep and you find those extra reserves to really get yourselves back into a game. But we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, sometimes there are players that come in, they are really good, really talented on paper, but then the mental just lets them down. But we'll have to see whether players have the talent and the mentality to go with it. And it looks like the players are ready, so it shouldn't be too much longer before we get this final series of the night underway.
Yeah, and it's a series that I think everybody here are quite excited to see. One, like you said, it is the final series of the night, so we're going to kick that off here right away on the kickoff. Drengir versus Huskies.
Yeah, it is, and the kickoff has gone the way of Husky. It is open up as Karishi Hokori does get the 50. It's dropping straight down. There's a fault from Rorugi, and all it takes is 7 seconds for Husky to get themselves in front.
Yeah, and that was a really quick turnaround off the kickoff, and Rorugi up to it before anybody from Drengir had a response, and 1-0 in the first 10 seconds. That's a huge start right now for Husky.
It is, and well, there's another decent kickoff. Rorugi off a corner does get a 50, but Jansu just enough on it. Jim Jones trying to send it further along. Tony has completely missed the ball. That could open up, but I think Billind was being bullied off a ball there. Jansu is looking rather awkward. Jim Jams does take over, trying to find a pass into the middle. Billind does connect. It's a shot on, and Tony does make the save. 2 players committed from Husky to make the save, but at least one of them was able to keep the ball out, but it's not over yet. Billind, that's a good ball into the middle, but there's no one there. And now Tony, as Drengir are short-staffed at the back, and Tony puts Husky 2-0 up in the first game.
Yeah, and just a pick off of the save, catching the Drengir defense just completely over-aggressive. And yeah, that's going to put them at 2-0 in the first minute. We're not even at the 4 minutes left of play here. But this kickoff does go in Drengir's favor, but it's going to be cleared nicely by Kaji. Kaji forcing through one, doesn't quite get it through the second, but two backs going to give Raw Rugi tons of time to get to the ball here.
Okay, it doesn't. Oh, Tony, that's got clearance. Trying to find Rodriguez. It's a decent 50. Does find Kaji off a wall. As that's some nice link-up play. It's Rodriguez, but I think his touch was too heavy. It's going onto a backboard, but Billind, it's a decent clearance. Not much boost to work with. Could end up going to Tony, but his touch has not quite gone where he wanted it to, and it's not, like there's not really that much finesse from either team. And well, that's a bit of a mishap, but it's not punished. I think there's a bump preventing that from happening, and Jim Jones trying to play his way out as off a wall. There's Billind in the middle for support, but he gets demoed. And I think, and as I said before, it feels like this game is not really the cleanest that we've seen.
No, definitely not, but the individual strategies and plays that we've seen that when they do come through, whether it's faking out or baiting a player in, they have been working to an extent. It's just that currently Drengir hasn't been able to close out on any opportunities. Meanwhile, Huskies with the pressure bump up, but Raw Rugi just stays with the ball the entire time. Jim Jams is going to be able to clear, sending it long, but Torny is back for that. Challenged by Genso. It's up in front of the blue net. Can Jim Jams get contact? He doesn't. He's going to leave it for a Beeland, who's now going to drop it right onto Torny's hood, and it's going to go all the way back into the orange half.
Well, it's sent straight back in to Husky half, but Rugi doesn't quite connect with the flick. As Tony does get the touch of the scene, try to find the second one, but not quite able to. As Kaji wins that loose ball, it's off a backboard, it's a flop, two players commit, Raw Rugi misses! That was a huge chance for Husky to put themselves 3-0, and now, oh, it's a brilliant save by Kaji. I was going to say we concede, but instead, they're able to keep it out, and Drinkgear, try as they will, they're still not able to find a way past this Husky defense. It's a good clearance by Tony. It's not quite on target though. And Drengir, they're just all over the place defensively. Just not really sure what's happening to them. But Husky, they have capitalized a couple of times, but you feel that they should be even further ahead, given the opportunities that have been afforded to them, as Tony does put them 3-0 up. And you can't wonder whether that will be game one settled already, because Drengir still haven't really had much to offer going forwards.
Yeah, and like you said, the way we've been seeing it so far, it is 3-0 isn't technically the largest lead in the world, but the way we've been seeing Drengir struggle on defense and even on offense, not really able to create any space for themselves to find those passing plays, to find the clean shots on net. It just hasn't been connecting for them right now, and they're going to try to get maybe start a comeback here. The ball cleared mid, but nobody there. Genso is going to be forced to rotate wide for that. Fakes one, tries to pass it down in front of the net, but Raw Rugi is going to challenge that and keep the ball safe for now. Now Kaji setting it up. Genso now building the pressure for Drengir in a really good way here as Beeland continues to try to pepper the net, but there's just always a blue player on the back wall or in front of the net at the moment.
Yeah, and it does feel that way, and chances for Drengir to claw their way back in game one are slipping away from them as that goes into the corner, as Kaji trying to find a pass to Tamil, but not the connection he would have wanted. But it doesn't really matter anymore. It's just 20 seconds. They still have that 3-goal lead. Drengir, they haven't really taken proper care of the ball. It's just not really been very organised defensively. They're still looking rather vulnerable as Tony hits off the ceiling and it's off the bar. That's a bit of a reprieve, and Kaji Okori could finish it off as Jim Jones makes a save. But Rorigi back to Kaji, and that is the cherry on top. Husky have absolutely dominated this first game. That fourth goal just settles it. It just sums it up, and Husky thoroughly deserve it.
Yeah, and that was a struggle the entire way here for Drengir. And you look at the scoreboard between these players, and it just not quite there for Drengir at the moment. Jim Jams at the end, we saw a couple moments of brilliance as he was able to ramp up the pressure, but there's still 2 more players that need to step up right now if they want a chance at taking out Huskies, who had an incredible start to the series.
Yeah, they haven't. And it feels like Drengir, they never really got going. I feel like defensively, they weren't great. The organization wasn't really there. It's just like they just didn't properly clear the ball. The touches weren't that great. There were a few double commits, just a few misplays. And Husky, they were just... I feel like it could have been even more because Husky, and yes, he did take chances, but there were even more chances which they didn't take. And Drengir, they are so up against it. And you can't wonder just... Surely things don't get any worse for Drengir the rest of the series. Surely this is rock bottom for them, and the only way for them in the series is up.
Yeah, it has to be at this point, and it's going to be really crucial to see what they can pull off at the start of this. Like I mentioned, Jim Jams was really able to pull off some good pressure near the end of that match, and off the kickoff, he's initializing the exact same kind of pressure. Now, off the backboard, a little bit of a miss. Rarugi is going to shoot it up, try to pass it to Kaji, who doesn't get good contact on it, but ball still being played in the orange half as Torny continues the blue pressure. Now Blind tries to clear it over, but Rarugi just faster in every way at the moment. Pretty much the entire story for the Huskies team, all their rotations, the way they're playing, it's just really fast right now in comparison to what Drengir has been able to pull off.
And I feel like the position, the players are better positioned to pick up those loose balls, and that's something that Drengir just haven't been able to do. As their shot comes in, they are able to keep it out this time. But there's another one. It is wide. Jim Jams is there to save a fault. But there's another one. Rarugi, it's wide. But Jim Jams does that clearance. But it's back into middle. Bilind just about does enough. Gets demoed. And Drengir, they are initially keeping out the shots. But they aren't really getting those substantial clears to get out of their own half and start attacks of their own. Although, having said that, they have just done that, but just Tony sends it straight back in to the Drengir half. And now Kaji does a good job of taking control, but gets bumped. And you have to say, defensively at least, it is better from Drengir compared to game 1. But they haven't really done much going forwards, so I think they need to take that next step for this game.
Yeah, and you can do as much as you want defensively, but being a fully defensive team can only get you so far in a series, and they haven't been able to, as you said, get those clears to mount any type of offensive pressure in the blue half. Now, Wieland trying to prove us wrong there for the second time, but just easy clear there from Genso. Rarugi trying to center it mid. It does float awkwardly in front of the orange net there, but Jim Jam, someone we've been saying his name a lot this series so far compared to everyone else, goes to try to start a play and does result in Beeline managing to get a shot on target, but just not able to connect. But this is definitely a good turnaround, some much better pressure, and just the overall way that they're playing and rotating is a huge improvement from game 1.
Yeah, it is, and it is definitely encouraging as Jansen's shot, it does go wide, but they are starting to keep Husky penned into their own half a bit. Certainly a lot more than what they were in game 1. Jim Jams trying to find a pass. There's a ground pinch, but I don't think Jansen was expecting it. And now, chance to counter-attack. It's Rarugi finding the shot. And Husky, they've had to work hard for it, but they do get the goal. And it has come in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, and that was just a clean beat to the ball off of a fantastic passing play, and that's going to put them 1-0 now with less than half of game's play. Now Rarugi back to Kaji. Kaji's going to start mounting pressure here, and Genso going to try to take it the other direction here to try to break that up, but good rotation. Torny there, trying to center it right onto Bilan's hood. Now Kaji challenging early. Awkward clear, ends up sending it back into his own half there, and a bump from Torny clearing out Genso. Rarugi now the goal scorer does find a second.
I was talking about how Drengir had improved, and I was going to say about how defensively they've broken down again, but I think there was a demo in there. I think there were like mitigating factors as to the second goal, and it's still been an improvement on the first game, but I think that shows that they've still got more work to be done. But now it forced to Berlin's that shot just too high, and not really able to follow up with it any further than that, as Berlin's not great at touch. Beats 2 players, and that's an overcommit. Can Drengir punish? Instead, they just take too long to get it down the other end. It's off the backboard. Tony doesn't quite get there. Comes to Berlin, off the backboard. Jim jams. It's wide, and Janso maybe just hanging back a bit. Didn't want to get caught out, but Drengir, you feel like that was the chance for them to get their first goal of the series, and they just didn't take it.
No, and maybe it was the fact that there was just really fast rotation from Huskies, and the team pinch might have been the last possible option. But now's a double commit coming through from Huskies. But again, Genso, a little slow to react, does give everybody time to rotate back. But there's a little bit of an awkward miss. Pinch right from Genso, trying to connect with Jim Jams, but it's just way too high. Now Vitline having to try to play against the entire blue team, but does manage to succeed. Jim Jams tries to take it up, loses control to Kaji, who's going to end up losing it right back to Bieland. Now, Bieland trying maybe, but no, Torny is up. Shot from Jim Jams, and he does find target for the first time this series. Drengir finds the blue net.
Well, I think Koskiewicz just got caught out, overcommitted. They tried to get back. It's a very awkward touch. Does find its way to Jim Jams, and to be fair to him, very good shot into the top corner. But has it come too late in the day for Drengir? It's taken them nearly 10 minutes to get their first goal in the series, and you kind of got to do better than that. It is dropping down awkwardly, and that will surely settle game 2, as Tony able to react to that loose ball, as no one recharging it. It is a very awkward bounce off the corner, as he's able to get there just beyond the last defender. And just as it looked like Drengir had something to work with, it gets snatched away from them right at the very end.
Yeah, and look, they had a good start to the game compared. But again, looking at the scoreboard, it's Jim Jams really the one carrying them at the moment to try to stay within this series and try to keep the series in reach. I think there definitely needs to be a bit of a step up at the moment from the other two players going into this next match, because overall, right now they're being outscored 7-1, and in that last game they were outshot 2-1 as well.
Yeah, they were, and well, and yeah, that says it all. So like 6. How can you expect to win a series if you're only getting 3 shots on target? And as you can understand that they have called the timeouts, clearly a lot to fix. They haven't really mounted enough pressure to warrant winning either of the 2 games, and you'll be hoping that if you are a Drengir fan, that timeout chance to talk things through, see, discuss how best they can break down this Husky defense, just thinking of ways to get themselves back into the series.
Yeah, and I think realistically, right now, what they need to do, and as you mentioned, look, what do they need to do to get back into the series? And it is they had a good defense on this side, but now it's to be able to convert those defensive plays into an offensive movement. They have to find and create the space. They have to take Huskies players off the ball, which is basically been what they haven't been able to pull off throughout. Anytime there's an opportunity, every time there's a clear, there's a Huskies player there ready. Someone needs to find a way to create that space, whether it's demos, whether it's getting more aggressive, as we did see Huskies start doing as well whenever they were struggling to find a goal in that game. And I don't know, I feel like we do need to see some more aggressive, maybe some more creative, just a change up in what they're doing currently if they want to continue moving on in the series.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen many demos coming out. I think when a team's really well organized, when it seems like that nothing is working. Maybe demos, maybe especially like if you haven't really tried it yet, Nevasaurus, and it can throw teams off, not just in terms of rotations, but also in terms of mentals as well. So sometimes we see when a player gets there, sometimes they just get frustrated and then they just get in their own heads, and you kind of wonder whether Drengir, whether they can maybe try that. Maybe that could work for them.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the timeout I think is necessary in this case. It's definitely something they need to be doing. They need to be kind of coming back together and just discussing what's happening. And even if it's as simple as taking that timeout to clear their minds, to chill out, to get back into this, treat it as a fresh start, because we've seen when they do find that momentum, they are able to keep Huskies down to 0 goals. They are able to put some shots on net as well. The 3 we saw did come within a certain period, a smaller period of time. So coming back in, being like, look, guys, we need to forget what just happened and move next, go in fresh, and figure this out.
Yeah, and well, it looks like the timeout is over. So whatever discussions they're having, they now need to be put into effect on the pitch, and there was quite a lot of issues that they needed to correct. And game 1 defensively all over the place. Game 2 defensively they did fix some of the problems, but a couple of them still remained, and they're still struggling to carve out opportunities, still struggling to breach the defense of Husky. And now in game 3 we'll see what sort of effect the timeout has had, whether they are able to put it into practice, as it is a fairly promising kickoff, but can Janso read it? Does play into the middle, but Kaji does make the clearance, and now the Lind, the 50 against Rugi, off the backboard. Jim Jones does have a bit of time to work with, and it is Tony trying to play it down to Kaji, and I talked about what sort of impact the time has had. Clearly not much, as Husky do find a lead. It's only taken them 20 seconds.
Yeah, and 20 seconds taking the lead again. We saw this similar in the first game, and if Huskies is coming in with that momentum off of Drengir's timeout, you as a team, you do kind of need to count on that timeout buff a little bit, right? If you want to find yourself avoiding, especially in Drengir's case right now, letting Huskies get to match point. But here's a possible shot from Genso, but it's just loses contact with it, and Torny does make the clear. Now Torny challenges 50s. Kaji, a good rotation, keeping it tight, does find the ball. It's going to float in front of the orange net, but Bayland is going to now start the orange offense, leaving it to Jim Jams. Jim Jams off the backboard. Can he find the second? He's going to leave it. He does try, but Torny does read that play and makes the crucial save.
Yeah, it feels like there really needed to be a follow-up there for Drengir, and there just wasn't. And it's looking all awkward again. There's a double commit, and they could be caught out here, and they are. It is Husky getting themselves a second goal. It's a double commit. It's actually a team bump, as Berlin not quite able to follow up off a wall, and Haji able to just send it back in. And it's Husky getting themselves 2-0 up in the third game.
Yeah, and a beautiful snipe from the back end. 2-0. We got 3.5 minutes, so much time left on the clock, and currently that time is all looking like Huskies' time at the moment, as they just haven't really found themselves struggling against this Drengir team.
Yeah, they are. And now Tony picks up the loose ball. Can he get the second touch? He can. It's off the post. Rorugi, can he follow up? He can. And Drengir, it's just, I'm not quite sure what's happening to him. I know that the game 1 wasn't very good, but it feels like the timeout has had the opposite effect of what they'd have hoped. They've just come out so sluggish. They're yet to even have a shot on target, which when you're 2-0 down in the series, you just cannot do that. And now it is with Jim Jones. He's hoping to rescue his team. It is off the bar. But there's just no fault. There's a double commit, which could put them even further in trouble. Though there is a team bump. to try and put them back into position as Belind does get a 50 against Rugi, but now Tony back into middle. Belind is on the backboard to intercept. Now he's trying to bring it forwards. The 50 against Kaji, but Kaji wins it, and now pass to Tony. It has gone just wide, and I feel like Husky, they have kind of let off a bit in terms of the aggression, in terms of how quick they are to follow, because they are doing a lot. They don't really want to overcommit and give Drengir any kind of hope of getting back into the game.
No, and it's, they're letting off the pressure, but they've changed the pace of the play. The play isn't as fast, it isn't as quick to cut, and they almost just got punished. Actually, they did get punished for that. As I was saying, taking that slightly more relaxed option gave Genso the opportunity to barely find the corner there, but it does end up on target, and that's the second goal of the series right now for Drengir. But with over 2 minutes left of play and a 2-goal differential, this is definitely still possible if they can find those positions in there, maybe, but Genso doesn't find the touch.
No, and I talked about Husky letting up. I think Drengir, they punished them for it. I mean, it's all well and good not having a player there to follow immediately, but you do need a player there to pick up the loose ball, even if the initial challenge isn't made. They just didn't. Neither of the two players were there to properly intercept that shot. And Rugi did try, but it just couldn't quite get back to it in time. But here's Kaji showing good control. How I said that, he did just lose it, but it is off the corner. Trying to play it into middle, but it's a good clearance away by Jim Jones, but only as far as Rugi. Tony going up for it, the 50 against Belind, and now Raw Rugi is on target, but again, Jim Jams does keep it out. Tried for 50 against Kaji, but Kaji actually decided to play it low that time. As I think Husky, I think that's one of the things they've done well. They've taken good care of the ball. They've made an effort to try to not throw away possession. That's when they do play the ball long, they do try and make sure that it is a useful touch with the ball. So that one does go middle, and even though it is cleared away, they are keeping Drengir under pressure. And there's another follow-up. So it goes into middle. It's Janso had to clear into his own corner. 50 against Rugi. 30 seconds left. But Husky, they're doing a good job of running down the clock. But that could be awkward, but not quite on target. It drops down. Jim Jones has to challenge, and he does. But Rugi does make the clearance. I feel that Drengir, they have to ramp it up in terms of the pressure, in terms of the follow-ups. Otherwise, they will be 3-0 down in the series.
Yeah, and at this point, 10 seconds left in this game, it is looking like the Muskies are going to move on to match point here, and Drengir is going to be forced to attempt a reverse sweep on a team that has looked so incredibly dominant throughout this series up until this point.
Yeah, and well, it feels like they're not, for all intents and purposes, Drengir and all those issues that we had in game 1 2, they're still there. They're still there. They might as well have not had the timeout, because it is clearly not done much. They come out of it looking very slow, very well, just not quite up to it, and
yeah,
well, they only started to get into rhythm towards end, but by then it was too late. I think that was more Husky slowing down rather than Drengir finding their footing. So they've just got to find something else that we haven't seen from them so far.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily say the timeout, regardless of the result. I feel there was something that we saw come out of this. Biland and Genso stepped up in this one in participation throughout this game was much higher than we saw in the last two, and they still ended up going down in this game 3-1, but it wasn't as effortless for Husky.
No, and I suppose that is the one positive, that they were a little bit better defensively, but just like the previous 3 games, they weren't able to contribute as much offensively. So that's something that they really need to improve. They need to find ways to unlock this Husky defense. They haven't really been able to do that yet.
Yeah, now we're just waiting a little bit delayed as the Rocket League servers did, as the Rocket League servers do, and gave us a little bit troubles here, but our legendary producer Raids is on the case and is keeping things running smoothly here as we wait to get into what very well might be the last game of this series. You know, you and I both made predictions of Drengir finding games, not just 1, but 2, and in my case 3, and that's not looking too likely right now unless Drengir has got something hidden up their sleeves that they haven't revealed so far.
Yeah, and whatever it is, whatever they have that they've yet to reveal to us, they need to pull it out now. And I know that they are still in the upper bracket, but going to a lower bracket at this stage, it will be rather difficult to come back and win the tournament from that point. I mean, we see so many times where teams get dropped to a lower bracket. Yes, they make a good run, but they never quite able to get it all the way over the line. I mean, yes, they do make a good run in the lower bracket. They reach the grand final, but they always just about fall short. And so it's for that reason that you want to stay in the upper bracket for as long as you can. And I feel like it's for that reason why this game 4 is going to have so much riding on it. Looks like there's still one player that's not yet joined the lobby, but Drengir, whatever they haven't shown, they need to show it now.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because they are currently down by a lot, and you know we don't want to necessarily, don't ever want to put down a team, but right now we need to uplift these guys because I think they need it at the moment if they want to make it through this series and not get forced down into the lowers, because that's not somewhere they want to be, and especially dropping down. You know, there's a difference between dropping down to lowers off of a good series, a series that you're happy with, that you feel comfortable with, but when you drop down and it comes off of this, if this is the way it goes, that's rough on the mental, and it does take some practice and skilled play to kind of recover from that. But here, as we get into this, what could be potentially the last match, we got to see here if Huskies can pull off a full sweep here, or if Drengir are going to start finding their way into what could possibly be a reverse sweep.
Well, I'm judging on what has happened in the first 3 games. I would be absolutely shocked if Drengir even take a game, let alone the entire series. I know that could come back to bite me, and it's already looking not that great for them, but well, they have got a shot on target, which is a good thing, and it has been a marked improvement on the previous games. I don't think in any of the previous games they got a shot on target at this point. As that's an awkward bounce. Tony does deal with it though, does get the second touch, it is on target, and the 4-puff for bar! And there's no one there in support, and it is a fast start for them, but it doesn't yield a goal.
Yeah, and now Jim Jam's trying to flick it up, but doesn't have a follow-through, and neither of his teammates there to take it either. You know, you can flick, but you do need to find something to play it from. Now, Jim Jam's back up again, now looking for the pass, trying to center it straight down, but finds the hood of Raw Rogi instead of Biland, which is probably who they were looking for in that one. But now Raw Rogi setting up the offense, looking for the pass, centered mid, Demo coming through, but no follow-up this time from Torny. Good harassment there from Kaji, who just keeps the ball safe from the shot. And now Raru is going to send it back deep into the orange half.
Yeah, and I mean, Drengir, they have done a better job defending. Jim Jams trying to have a pass, trying to link up with Janso, does get the return. It's off the back, but there's no one there to follow up. And it's that familiar story that we've seen plenty times. Covey finds up with a counter-attack. Okori can't keep it out. And Drengir, for the first time this series, take the lead in game.
Yeah, and it must feel nice at this point, having a lead, even if it is just by one. And even though you are faced with reverse sweeping, having that lead feels, I guarantee you it feels good for them at the moment.
Yeah, it does, and it will give them such a huge boost in confidence where they've been up against it for pretty much the entire series. For them to be in the driving seat, but only for so long, as Husky answer back. It's Tony playing it to the back, but it's such a good drop down for Rugi to receive. But you have to wonder, Drengish, one of them should have been going up for it, looking to clear that ball instead, but they just did. They both just like kind of hid away in goal, just hoping that the shot would come towards them, but it just didn't, and got to be doing better there. And now Rugi puts Husky in front.
Yeah, seeing that, I didn't even know what to make of it. It looked like Billund had a clear, but Jim Jams just slammed it down and forced his team into an awkward position, and it opened up the net. Now they're back trailing by 1, and this is not what they were looking for, especially off of a play like that.
No, and I mean, you can't wonder, like, I mean, they did take the lead, but they only had it for all of about 15 seconds, and it seems like counterattacks are all the way for them. As they did try and get another one there, but that one just off target. Now Jim Jones trying to turn back for boost, but then trying to follow. Jansu misses it. It could open up for Rugi as Jim Jones can't get there, and it looks like Drengir are falling apart again.
Yeah, backflip there, and Jim Jams does spawn in time, but got caught up on his wave dash attempt and kind of just delayed him to the ball, and now they're trailing by 2, something they are unfortunately pretty familiar with in this series. And now Genso trying to find an opportunity, but again, beat to the ball by Torny. Jim Jams challenges that, and there's going to be a blue player, but he's over 1. He's going to look for the second, but he can't keep contact with the ball. Now Genso looks like he was reading a potential clear, but ended up not going through, so just went straight past the ball. But Jim Jam's looking to pass it down, nobody connecting with it. And these centers that we're seeing from Drengir, they're not bad. The issue is they're not finding a player. There is a player there, but the ball's not going to them.
No, and I think that's something that needs to be fixed, as it nearly got worse of them, but this time they are able to keep it out, as still very much in their own half. Berlin does win for 50. Jim Jams does follow up, so it goes into a corner. There's a chance of Jansen, but the contact is not good enough. It's not on target. It doesn't find a teammate, and well, it's really not good. Oh, that's a very good bump on Rugi. Would have been almost certain 4th goal, and now they are trying to link up, but the touch is just not quite there. And we can't see Drengir. They are starting to show something that we haven't seen from them, but I think because it's taken them so long to try out these ideas, that the execution is not quite there. It's letting them down, and I feel at this stage, with less than 20 seconds to go, being 2 goals down, you need those kind of situations to go your way. They haven't. It's less than 10 seconds now. They need a miracle if they are to stay in the upper bracket. It's not going to happen. Husky, they've been absolutely dominant from start to finish. They will continue, and now Drengir will have to play against Riffle to stay in the tournament.
Yeah, and Huskies, much like a mouse in the snow, slam Drengir deep down into the lower bracket, and they're going to move on. They're going to stay in that upper, and that's exactly where they want to be. That's the ideal spot. And I don't think there's too much to say looking at these stats other than just great performance here from Rugi. All 3 goals to his name in this last game, but just generally incredible performance from the Huskies players throughout this series with a 4-0 sweep over Drengir. That's going to make them feel real good.
Yeah, I feel like the stats tell the whole story. 13 goals to just 3 mustered up by Drengir, and not only that, I mean, they were only able to put up 14 shots across 4 games. I think that might be one of the lowest tallies I've seen in a long time. And the series MVP, it is going to be Rugi, has contributed the most amount of goals, 7 goals, 4 assists and 3 games, and 3 saves, proving to be a real thorn in the side of Drengir and really punish them throughout the series.
Yeah, and 11 shots out of the 30 total shots from the team. That is great performance, great field presence from Rugi. So congratulations on that MVP, and it'll be exciting to see what he's got for us in the next series as they continue their way now through the uppers, you know, setting the tone for what's going to be very exciting rest of the tournament.
Yeah, it will be. And Drengir coming off the back of that chastening defeat. They have got a lot of work to do. And Riffle, they were in good form. I mean, they took that first game 2-1 up, but after that, they looked like they were really running away with it. And, well, they could prove to be a bit of a problem if Drengir don't step up. But Husky, they looked really good tonight, and you can't wonder whether you would fancy them to take out Tjorns in that upper semi-final. But in the other upper semi-final, we'll see Origin taking on Purpose, and in the lower bracket, we'll see Xinjiang taking on Nubis. It's all happening on Saturday, where we will crown the Academy champion. But there are more streams between now and then. Tomorrow we will move on to the prospect players, so be sure to stick around then. But we do have a couple more things to go through before we end tonight.
Yeah, and I will actually let you continue on with that as well, since, as I said, I did jump in right off of work here, so I was here to enjoy some really good Rocket League, and we did get some, so I'll let you carry on with this.
Yeah, so just before we go for tonight, got to mention our sponsors. We've got Badass Studios, we've got SpartanWare, got trophi.ai, and if you're looking to buy anything from the Epic Store, be sure to use code rsc-eu for any times you do. And I think that is all for tonight. As I mentioned before, we will be streaming again tomorrow. It will be for the prospect playing, so, but that is all for tonight. But as I said, be sure to tune in for tomorrow.
We'll see you next time.
This isn't just merch. It's what teams wear when they mean business. Teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.